as equally violently as it can move down. LFS here. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. You just had to punch this before, you know, it was too late and this thing gave up the entire
No
go.
worries. Just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out on GME. You might get a pop, you may not. Let's see how some of those numbers come out.
All right, guys. 201, and the big boys are that way. I'll see everybody on the big desk.
Wow, that was quick. All right.
That was
going on. Yeah, good show there. 201. Yeah, good job.
201 taking extra
GameStop.
time.
Yeah, interesting. Couple levels there.
Jimmy.
December 9th. That's a ways away.
Who reports on December 9th?
That's
Come
what
on.
Saying GameStop there, but yeah, welcome everybody. AMD.
Wow, AMD.
Bouncing around a little bit. They actually got green in there for a minute. 248. Nice little top wick there. 248.50. I have it all locked and loaded to go. I wanted to see one more test and then a slam down because now we've seen it up here 4 times and all within like the same 5-6 minute span there. Couldn't get going and then slam down every time. So I'm waiting to see if we can retest some of those levels. But yeah, man, Nvidia kind of leading the way to the downside for some of these names. And then I was looking at it this morning, watching some CoreWeave this morning as that kept getting worse and worse. And right now you're pretty much at the day's low right now for CoreWeave. We have the low being 89.20s, and we're right here right now. So watching this name here into the close. And then tonight we've got Oklo was the big one for tonight. So we'll work on that with Brian Shannon coming through as well. So hopefully everyone's morning was good, and see a few opportunities. Obviously the market started off pretty negative there and tried to battle back. We almost turned green on the Nasdaq.
Yeah, I mean the Nasdaq has just been relentless. Everybody, like, no matter how weak it looks, and look, it's not like it was that bad this morning, but like all you could work was like some slow bleeds short. Like there was nothing, you didn't break down underneath yesterday's lows. It wasn't anything catastrophic. So there were some opportunities to be short, and then the reversal has been impressive to say the least. AMD has to be on watch with the event going on here, but you should also look to see if we can hold onto some of these gains. That's going to be a key. I'm only in Rivian because it just bounced off VWAP. It's the only trade. Here's your, I guess it kind of trended down into VWAP and bounced earlier. We had Randy come by like randomly in the middle of the day. Neither OBI even looked at Rivian. And he just has this smile on his face. And
what was it doing?
He just goes Rivian.
Yeah.
And it was almost up double digits again today. Like Rivian, I don't care what you say about it or what you think about it. The last week on Rivian has been unbelievable. It's just a straight shot. Like, look at this. The graphic's louder than usual, but 13 to 17 in like 6 trading sessions here, and we're not even done yet. So I'm playing it VWAP to the high of the day, and apparently Rivian's on one in the way that Tesla is not. Yeah, Rivian doing great, but it's got that short float, so I think that's a part of it too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, there was Tesla. There was Big Bear today. Almost got. I mean, you got your 650. We talked about these 50 cent levels every dollar. So 650, 750, 850. You're able to get that today. Still up 11%. So that was a good one. I think we're up 17 or 18% to start the day, falling off of $7. Big Bear AI. We'll talk more about that name as well. And let me check out the other name, PLTR over here, to see what that's doing. 191. And then yesterday, almost Nvidia. Just on this show, we were cracking through 2 bills and fell off of that. So right now, Palantir coming right back in off of 200 as well. So we'll wait to see all these names. Are starting to rally a little bit here. As AMD, we'll talk about that news again, looking for an expansion there. I think it was in their data center business, really rocketed that to the upside. And you got Nvidia trying to go as well. So we'll see. Maybe the move in Nvidia or in AMD is potentially over. Like I said, we're waiting for 247, 248 to come in. Oh, and I had some, where are we? Yeah, we didn't really dip buy into it. A 111.80. Oh, we just missed it. I forgot all about this. I put in some dip buys opportunities here into the 50 period moving average for the Nasdaq, but looks like we just missed it. I was bidding 111.80, so we're going to have to adjust these a little bit as we wait for some actionable trades here in the Nasdaq as well this afternoon. So yeah, lots of stuff happening in there behind us. See the screen, they're blasting again, so that's nice.
It makes it nice and warm in here.
Lots of stuff happening. Brendan sitting down back there right now, so that's nice. Yeah, no, look, it's the way this all looks is pretty awesome. I can't wait to get more involved.
I just noticed, like, even like right behind my head, see like the nice like green random tickers. There's so much we can do with this to make it look cool. And we got a super chat from Vancouver Islander. Oh, I should put it up here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, thanks, Andre. Shout out to all the veterans. Thank you for your service and for the freedom we enjoy, lest we forget. Shout out to them for sure. I mean, it's typically, I don't know how everyone does it usually. We were talking about before, like usually right after the moment of silence is when we remove our poppies. You wear it from November until the moment of silence. And that was very well done. I think, I believe Ramin might have made the graphic that we put up.
Nice. Okay.
So I didn't know, we hadn't seen it. It was very, very cool. So thank you for doing that, Ramin. I think it was fantastic. And everybody should, at some point today, if you get a chance to say thank you to a veteran, you should. And if you don't, then self-reflect or whatever works for you. And we'll see if this market can hold up. I feel like that was the jinx. Who said green just now on the ES, John?
Did it go green?
Well,
I'm not even looking at the
No, the NASDAQ, no.
Oh, the ES is big time.
Oh, you know what the jinx was? Okay, we're going to get to the rundown in a second. It was my bad, because I was like, oh, Lily's going to break 1,000. Got to $999.95.
that
I'm like, yo, this is a done deal, pretty much.
$991.
For sure it's gone. Don't even worry about it. And then it pulls back $10. Obviously, it's going to happen. It just didn't happen today. So I think it was day trader relay. You got your 1,000 on Eli Lilly. Maybe just a couple of days late.
Yeah, it's definitely, 999.95, unbelievable. Or I'm going to start a position right here in the future, just coming back into the 50 period. Very small little start right now. I want to see honestly, I just want to see if we actually really change the trend here and see if we can come back into this downside before being wrong. So let's, our stop right now, breaking of 111.30-ish area low. So that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do anyways, starting a position right now in the TQQs, and we just we're long 84s, so we can always take out something here. There we go, we got some 92s. We'll wait for 99s, and we'll see if we can blast a little bit higher. But a quick little 10-cent scalp, but we're going to see if it can get going there. And of course, remembering that we're just going to have to watch out for AMD. Like if this completely comes back in, then it's no good. I chose the futures over AMD.
Oh, AMD's really...
Yeah, like now it's starting to come back, right? So the market may not hold too good if some of these big... I mean, again, it's only AMD. It's not a big thing, but if they start coming down to the downside, we'll watch out for other big names. But there it goes. Yeah, buddy. All right. We're back, baby. There it goes. Let's see if we got some 99s. We're waiting to get filled up there on the top side as we take along here in the NASDAQ. As soon as we're ready, we can flip over there.
Yeah, he's just setting up, which is all right. No worries about that. Sharif, if you want where the strength has been all day long, it's been Apple up 2%. Like this has been unwavering. Well, it lost VWAP for a bit, but this has been unwavering to the upside. This one I have the eyeballs on because something special has happened. It's finally blown through all this resistance at like 72 and 73. And on a 15-minute basis, we're finally consolidating above it. So that prior high yesterday, 273.75. Again, I like the strong stocks this afternoon. I might stay away from the chips, to be honest with you. Just kind of like with AMD going nuts, I might only go back over to SMCI. Everything else I don't want to touch. But Apple's strong. Rivian I like it because it's strong off of VWAP. But if you pull back into this 274, it's 73.75 is I think where this is dead. So pulling back into 74, I'm going to like some Apple. And on that note for SMCI, it's just what I noticed here. Like it was shorted in the morning. It went right back to where it dumped, and we were all the way at VWAP. This stock is built differently, and unfortunately, that's a bad thing for them. I don't know if I short the breakdown at VWAP, but if it gets anywhere near that top again, it has to be short. So Hangry Wife just said AMD screwed you both ways. That's why I'm staying away from it. Diddle in the middle. Like either you were just gung-ho was going to be a sell the news, and you were playing it off of the high, like yesterday's high. I don't even know why I would have gone long at any point. It just looks like an absolute mess on AMD. If you don't have a clear read, you're just going to get run over on that stock. Now let's get into the rundown. We've got Sharif at the desk, and I was going to guess maybe BBAI is going to be on there. Probably Tesla. I don't know what else will be there.
AMD probably.
AMD should be there.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Sean's back, the big boys locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers right there is to get into the chat and vote every day. You got to throw in that $sign, though, before the ticker of your choice, but make sure to vote. Let's start, as we always do, by looking at all four major averages. And there's only one that's red now, and it happens to be the NASDAQ, but it's barely red. Nice recovery off that 25.5 that we held in the morning, and now down only 0.25%, but most notably above 25,600. The ES faring a bit better, maintaining its position above 68.5, also up 0.1%. Leading the way, though, is the Dow Jones. What a rocket ship the Dow has been, guys. Look at that. All green candles, only a couple of red candles here on the half-an-hour chart, as we are up over 1% on the US 30 and the Russell 2000, at least maintaining green, up 0.18. Let's start, though, with the first ticker as decided by you. As Neil guessed correctly, Tesla leading the way here, down almost 2%. No real big news today on Tesla. There was Truist Securities maintaining the hold on Tesla and dropping the price target, guys, to $406. No real news today on the Cybertruck maker.
Yeah, like there wasn't big news, and for whatever reason, Tesla wasn't even a consideration this morning for a trade. As I said, like Rivian's been more interesting than Tesla on the chart, and shout out to Randy for believing in that stock. I wish I had ultimately, but Tesla, it's just a fat diddle in the middle. Like unless you really, really love 450, we know 420 is a buy zone. So there's an outside chance that if things fall apart, you could see that today. I'm not really seeing it. Until it breaks out above 450, then you can get that leg higher. Like the stock is in a chop fest. Like look at the daily chart for this thing. Like I don't know what to, I just don't like it. Either you're getting it off the 50 period at 420, or you're fading it when it gets into 60, and everything else is a chop fest in Tesla. But that's still like a bull flag consolidation. It's all very good. In the long term, it's just an absolute choppy mess in here. So buy the absolute lows, because I think that's the best you can get. And as I said, a little bit more interesting in Rivian the last few sessions. Like which one would you rather be playing around with? Rivian up another 7%. It was up this much yesterday. And then it did, I think it was 20-something% just last week. So this one's my cup of tea. I'm trying to get high of the day there, and I'm going to reload this one at VWAP if we can grab it, as opposed to Tesla. I know it's an interesting stock, but I feel like people are probably getting chopped up in this range.
Yeah, we just so you guys know, we're out of about half already of our TQs, and I'm just going to let the rest see if we can go back up into day's high again here for the NASDAQ as we continue to watch that. Yeah, for me on Tesla, I still, honestly, it's I know it's like a meme level when we talk about it, but this 420 area to me is pretty interesting, where we keep on sort of bouncing off of that. And I think we're pegged to try it again and, give it a shot there. I don't know, like, I'm not in love with the way the NASDAQ has been trading the last couple of days. I mean, obviously very volatile. And then on the back end of all this AI news, I just, Tesla's a big AI play. So if there is sort of cracks in that armor, then we will be able to see Tesla also give some of this up as well. So yeah, just in the middle right now. I don't really too interested until we get to 320 on a looking at a higher level charting, but like 448 or so I just saw coming into these little areas there. I mean, 450 is an obvious one, but yeah, if we can get back into somewhere where we were yesterday before today. I'd like to short back into here. But again, it's just the same kind of levels. I think you want to come in every morning and see if there's any major news on Tesla, and if it makes our watch list, and if it makes your watch list, if it's doing greater volume than average daily volume in the pre-market, then maybe Tesla's worth looking at it. I know it's a big look also at Blue Ocean as well overnight. So not super excited for anything Tesla related yet. We'd like to see it down about $10, and then I think you can start to scoop some for a longer term play.
Well, like you see in the bottom, are you ready, everybody? Because as it says there, you've seen us for a long time, and we've talked about our story where we started out. Now, the opportunity is there with Trader TV Academy coming through for you to learn in the same way that the team here learned the markets. How we learned the platform, how we learned the basics, how we learned to structure trades, how we learned to use indicators, how we learned to set up our books, our layout. All of these things and even more, the types of things that shape our journey, Sean, myself, Brendan, Sharif, everybody out here, and countless traders before, live with Trader TV Academy. And here's the thing. We're going to be learning more about this. You can stay tuned over the course of the next few weeks. We'll be dropping tidbits. We'll be letting you guys know more information as it comes. So make sure you're subscribed, and then watching for any updates. And if you have any questions down the line, don't hesitate to ask. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be big. And I hope you guys are excited for the Trader TV Academy, because we are.
All right, guys, BigBear AI reporting earnings. And look, you know, there were some mixed issues here with BigBear, but the price action speaks volumes. We are up 10% on the day. We're certainly off highs, guys. This one did breach $7 in the pre-market, $6.95 highs, guys. They missed earnings on the bottom line with a 7-penny loss, but revenues beat expectations up to $33.1 million. But that's still a down print here, 20% year over year on the quarter. They continue to expand their VeriSign, and they made an acquisition in Q3 for Sage, which looks to expand some of their partnerships and their businesses with the defense segment, guys.
I just tried it at the wrong spot today.
Oh, you tried.
I thought I was being real. I even said in the morning, I was like, okay, we're going to trade opens next. We're going to trade open at the open and allow BBAI to bamboozle for 15 or 20 minutes or so. And I wasn't quite patient enough. And what was crazy is right when it was up here with the 1 million buy imbalance, we were saying right before the open, it's like, just be careful with these gappers, with these big buy imbalances. Oftentimes it's a trap. And before we could even get it out of our mouths, it was that hammer candle to the downside. I tried when it broke the open range, and then tried to regain it on a trend break. Was the only trade I took. It's my red name for the day. Pretty much everything else worked out today except for this thing. And then it turns clean off $6, because why not? Like, forget about getting frisky with it on trend breaks or, you know, any kind of technical setup. If you just took the break when it held the $6 level, it got you the VWAP trade. So every now and then the even dollars work. Literally rejected exactly $7 at 9:30, and then bounced pretty much exactly $6 a little bit later. Just give it the old, I think you got to let this one calm down for a couple of days. Maybe it heads back to the 200 period and you try to grab it there, or it puts in a higher low and can end up holding on to this 50 period. But I think it's in wait and see mode on BBAI. Doubt I trade it this afternoon unless it busts through VWAP or something along the lines. There's too many other things that are trending high. You can look at strong names like Apple strong, Rivian strong, OpenDoor just broke the high of the day. So why be in BBAI until it calms down a couple of days? Great, because it's up 10%, but if you day traded it today, you probably wanted to be short.
Yeah, I mean, that always happens on some of these names when they report. Like we saw Palantir report go to the downside, but these guys actually come out today pretty strong. And we watch out for that nice move to hold right now on BigBear AI. I really love the fact that we got into that only minus 3 cents and beating there the minus 7 that was expected. We showed you that they had a pretty big loss the prior couple quarters on BigBear AI. So I think as investors, we should probably be somewhat happy with the quarter that we just saw from them. And yeah, on the march to profitability, I don't know much about that Ask Sage, what they bought there and what that's all about. So maybe some more work into that if we're going to you know, look at this as a longer term thing. But we talked about it before. We got the idea. People asked last week, you know, when are we going to start to dip in and start to buy? Anytime you're at 200 period, it's pretty good. You had to get a little earlier than that, you know, between 550 to 6. That very bottom net wasn't really tradable. So it's a nice move higher, but I think we all would have liked a bit, even a bit more than that. Like, I'm not super happy that we didn't come close to that 750. So let's see if we can hold today and then get a little bit better news in the market. I mean, literally they have AI in their name. So, you know, maybe today was SoftBank selling out of Nvidia and some of that, you know, sort of negative secondary stories. Maybe that hit the name just a bit here. Palantir did have, you know, a sell after its earnings day. So, you know, I think I agree with Neil. Let's see if we can hold this 50-period moving average, which is basically right here. It would be interesting to see how we open tomorrow, you know, up or down from these kind of levels right here, right now. So, yeah, BigBear AI, I think we avoided, you know, the absolute disaster there, but only up 10% as expected. Too bad it sold off.
Just a note, everybody that had the poll in the afternoon last night, BBAI was by far the biggest percentage move. It wasn't even close. I think it was 19 or 20%.
Yeah, oh yeah, by the open?
And by the open, I think the next best might have been 10.
I had Rigetti. Was Rigetti even on this list? No. What was Rigetti move?
Rigetti's actually looking strong right now. Surprised we don't talk, with Oklo and some of these other high flyers. You get the energy names tonight, and then you have Quantum. Surprised that we're not talking about that name, but it was BBAI is the biggest percentage mover by far. Disappointment with Rigetti. OpenDoor, after its earnings, has been on a bit of a press higher. Mr. Jackson's got to be happy.
So Kaz Najatian tweeted yesterday, I was telling Brendo this morning, that him and his family were buying 1 million shares, market on open orders, and that's what this article talks about here. CEO Kaz Najatian, 2 months into his role, I guess this summary says pledges 1 month after mixed Q3 results. He didn't say personally he was going to be buying it. He said his family was. In any event, guys, we are up 6% on the day, and we are right at day's high, 846, looking to take out the $0.50.
Axter probably, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I think we have one of those books.
I might have had this conversation with Sean already, but I was telling him, because Kaz is a kind of a weird name, but Chris Hadfield, the Canadian astronaut, is an author, and all of his books, like his recent books, the main character's name is Kaz, so I think Baxter would be all world. But this one is a, I was going to hit the rocket ship, but I'm not on the right page. Where is it? There it is. That thing.
Damn.
But it's only 6% today. I got away from this. Okay, I'll be real. I got away from OpenDoor to make a gimmicky trade. I think I talked about this in the lesson of the day, to make a gimmicky trade in the, it's not an IPO, it's a SPAC today, right? So anyways, I was testing some stuff out in SPACs. I think there's some opportunities that are similar to what gets done on IPOs. So I ended up getting away from OpenDoor to trade this thing. But OpenDoor ended up being a rocket again. It's just trending higher. I don't care what you think about it fundamentally. Look at the last 3 sessions. We talked about this in the morning show. Like, okay, so it's not as big of a long as it was the last 2 days. Fair enough. But look at the bounce on it got pushed down hard on earnings, and then it's been met with only buying for 3 days. I think you run into problems if we can't break this 850, 860 on the 3rd day here. You know, you run into this resistance. You might like gap this, and then if you lose it on the 3rd day, it's probably some kind of a reverse trade. But for this afternoon, there's really just this 850 level, maybe like 856 is that wick high or 55. I'm gonna think about, you know, I'm not gonna take the break. I'm not thinking about the break long. I'm gonna look for a dip on a fail break back into the prior high. This afternoon, this is strong. If there's any market weakness and AMD doesn't take us higher, then you know, sometimes the small cappers are where to go. That's why I like Rivian right now, and I'm going to like OpenDoor. Look for a fail break, that 850 high, pull back into 830. I'd be concerned about tomorrow being the 3rd day after a couple of really strong ones. But for today, the stock's just been a beast. It's doing what you wanted BBAI to do, but you know, give BBAI a couple of days to calm down.
Yeah, still off that $7 level is great. Still 25% short on OpenDoor. So yeah, just look at it. You know, none of these lines have been that great today, but that middle blue one is VWAP. Then we have the 200 period. So obviously we continue to tick a little higher. I think now it makes a little more sense that if you were to look at a 200 period or even VWAP down here at $8. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it was pretty choppy to me. I mean, this is one where if you bought it at the open and just sort of held till now, great. But if you bought it at the open, you had a nice move higher and lower, higher, then lower again. I don't know. It just seems like it would have been a tough one to stay in longer term. With today anyways for OpenDoor. So yeah, you're looking to break higher though right now. That's a great little level. Breaking through 860. I think this one could be one that really goes in the after hours too. If we don't break 860 right now, check it out like 401 and things like that, where the sellers will sort of, you know, dissipate and we'll be able to take advantage of a little lesser liquidity anyways. 150 million shares is still a decent little spot there for anyone trading, looking for volume with OpenDoor. So yeah, just, you know, congratulations anybody that's been long off that sort of obvious level down there at 7. You had to hold it a little bit against you. So, thank you, Randy. Much appreciated. I was wondering if you were still here. So
that's what
that's good. That's good. I heard your dog scared away the Amazon driver there.
My dog loves the Amazon guy. Oh yes.
Animals love. That's the best.
It's the quickest package drop off you've ever seen. That's
the driver got their cardio in, huh?
Oh, he was
out of there.
He was top speed off the front porch. Yeah. We don't have porch pirates. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no chance. Absolutely.
All right,
no
thanks,
chance.
Randy. Get home safely.
Forget about getting like one of the ring or anything like that. Just let Clyde go after him.
Yeah, exactly. He's a
straight up.
100-pound.
What is he? I know he's more than 100 pounds, isn't he? How much?
He's a Great Dane. I don't know, 100 maybe. Oh, no, he's 120 pounds. I'm not sure what he is.
Yeah, the pictures, he looks more than 100 pounds.
Yeah.
It's
probably insulting him by with those numbers. Sorry, Clive.
Too big. Yeah. Let's talk about we just did OpenDoor. Ooh, now it's all about the chips.
Okay, here we go.
All right, guys, Nvidia, down 2.5% on the day. This was kind of the breaking news headline that we got this morning, that SoftBank selling their entire 32.1 stock, totaling $5.83 billion. The company and analysts saying that it is not a comment on the view of SoftBank on Nvidia, but more requirement for them to raise funds to fund some of these AI projects, most notably that $500 billion Stargate commitment that they have put their name on.
Yeah, curious day for Nvidia, but the dip buyers, they came in just nowhere near where I was hoping they would. I kind of felt like if we were weak today, we shorted other stuff today in the morning. I just think SMCI is a better short than Nvidia pretty much every day at all times. But Nvidia, it managed to hold on to your V shape from a couple of sessions ago, from that Friday dip, and it holds on really, really well. Didn't get anywhere near that 190. Can it get grain? I'm beginning to think. I'm getting skeptical of that because it's yesterday's low that we're kind of turning around in and unable to hold through. So maybe you put a little blame towards AMD here, but Michael Burry made his comments about like hyperscalers, I think it was more to say the valuations are going to be a fundamental accounting issue, and with like Meta and some of them, not specifically Nvidia, but it seems like it's hurting Nvidia as well. The SoftBank story they already sold, so should that really matter? We checked back earlier. SoftBank, SoftBank is twice. It's the second time they've sold.
Right.
They managed to, assuming they got this high, they managed to have the best sell you could have on Nvidia and the flat-out worst possible sell that you could have on Nvidia.
Where's the other one they had?
So it was January. I'm gonna look at my signal. It was January of 2019. So right about.
What? Oh wow, that's.
Somewhere in here they sold Nvidia like between $3 and $4.
Okay, well that's tough though.
But I don't know when they got back in to then ride it to whatever the high was just now.
What are you gonna do there?
For all we know, they bought this back at like $15, or who knows? They made bank the second time. So
I was thinking about that story because SoftBank is still really heavily invested in OpenAI and many of this AI universe. So I feel like selling Nvidia, which is near the top and is a big winner, obviously for them or for anybody that's bought Nvidia over the last couple months, you're about $20 away from the highs, as long as you didn't buy the high. You've made a lot of money and you're selling winners into, what could be a temporary top. I mean, their earnings are coming next week, so we have to wait to see what Nvidia does. I think it's I think it's prudent investing to get out of something. Now, selling it all is a little strange, but at the end of the day, I think it's to go to fund other projects in the space. If they were like, oh, you know what, we're like divesting out of all of our AI, then I would say, okay, maybe then it's time to run, and I think we would be down obviously a lot more than where we are now. I just think it's to raise capital for other projects. So I think SoftBank is well invested in the AI story, and if they really did believe it was coming to an end, I think they'd be dumping many of their positions, of which case we should do probably a graphic. I should get a Dara. Let's see where SoftBank's money is sitting right now. What holdings are they in? What are some of their more recent acquisitions and buys and sells? So yeah, I'm with you. I'm not too worried about it. It's nervous hands, right? I mean, Nvidia's near the highs. There is talk about AI. We spooked it last week when they were talking about government backing and this and that. We get some problems here. We're hearing the data center issues today, but then AMD comes out with a good story. So let's go back over to Sharif right now, figure out the AMD story, and then we can put them both together.
All right, guys, AMD, they're with their analyst day today, of course, at 1 o'clock. We brought that live to you guys on the midday show, and Lisa Su, CEO, made multiple comments, so let's just get right to them. She says the company is on track to hit tens of billions in AI data center revenue by 2027. In fact, she went so far as to say she sees it at $1 trillion by the beginning of the next decade. We'll have to see if that pans out. She also says, look, customers are not leveling off their AI investments at all. In fact, the demand is insatiable for their AI compute as well as infrastructure. This is the $1 trillion comment by 2030 that I was referring to. She also says she sees data center revenue growth of more than 80% CAGR, compounding annual growth rate. Good look there. She also says that they're on track for tens of billions of dollars, as I mentioned. Last but not least, 35% annual revenue growth over the next 5 years. The price right now of AMD down 1 2/3.
For AMD, let's remind everybody that every single year there are over 3.8 million concussions that are reported in the United States, yet there is no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE listed Oragenic, symbol OGEN. OGEN is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With this concussion treatment market projected to reach nearly $9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Make sure you do scan that QR code and schedule a meeting today to find out more about what Oragenics has to offer. So, yeah, so we're starting to get out a little bit more here. I see you've got a good one there with Rivian.
I got no out. It just hit the high of the day.
Yeah, we're hitting the highs right now again. Well, not the highs exactly, but making a nice move back up here with the NASDAQ. So we're trying to get a little bit out. But yeah, AMD, I was waiting for that 248 again. I didn't want to do anything while the trade was still on. And what by that, I mean, like it just had got going. I don't think you ever want to short that first pop because there's always going to be a little bit of a relief into a rally, and so that was that, and then it made a bottom and came right back up. Then once we made that top and then fell off again, that's where I literally was just sitting here ready, like I had my order ready to go. I didn't want to short it on the way back up. I wanted it to come back up here. Then I was going to sort of slam this 247.50 or 248. Like I'm not sure what price I would have got, but just off that top. Now I'm looking like a genius for even thinking about it, but I don't have the trade on, so okay. But that's what I was thinking. You know, you sort of buy the rumor, sort of sell the news once it's out there and we understand exactly, you know, what this CAGR is and when we're talking about the data center and is it really a needle mover? I mean, we have this big move up and down, but yet right now, you know where we're landing, Neil? Right where we started. This is exactly where we were pre-conference. So yeah, it doesn't look like they announced anything that's, you know, shocking to anybody, but AMD, okay today, but obviously down 2% with the NASDAQ only down 0.18. So I don't know, thoughts on AMD?
I don't know, I liked it for a chop fest today going into it and wasn't a huge fan. And then, you know, I felt there was other things to trade. But I think I was just looking at the Nvidia monthly chart. We were showing you guys this in the SoftBank context. Like look at Nvidia's monthly chart and have a look at AMD's monthly chart. Now scaling aside, because the scaling is a little bit different here, AMD has had just huge pullbacks the last few years and then ramp jobs, whereas it's been a safer, steadier run on NVIDIA, but that provides better opportunities than it buy. Like if this candle is the start of something at the highs and AMD is gonna pull back and give you a playback, forget about the prior highs because it's not like they're respecting that, but maybe back into the 50 period on the monthly or even into like this high at the 160, like it's been a huge opportunity when this thing pulls back in for real. So, you know, I feel like it's getting a little bit overpriced. Like I trimmed a bunch of AMD and I would be a dip buyer if it gave us something real. For now, like for this afternoon, like it can't even seem to get back above VWAP. Event, I believe, is done. So I think you could at least calm down and maybe retake the volume weighted average price. The market wants to be strong, but this just looks like a bit of a dud. I'm going to stay away from it. But I do believe on that higher time frame, especially looking at that monthly chart, if there is a dip and this AI trade does come back in, don't forget about AMD just out of love of NVIDIA, which I know is something a lot of people do, myself included, if I'm being real about it. So as I said, I was getting out of the high of the day on Rivian, but if it breaks back down, I consider one more shot at VWAP, but suddenly OpenDoor got my attention. OpenDoor, so much for the false break of 8.5. It broke 8.5 and is still going. So looking pretty strong. I thought maybe false break, pullback somewhere into the 30s, and then ride it into the high. This will be on the radar this afternoon for its relative strength. 7%. I know it doesn't seem like much compared to yesterday, but it's still a pretty good day for OpenDoor. Just want to play the next available dip if we can get it. Ooh, and we got a super chat. Ket copy paste. That's an interesting one. Viking breaks 40, still in Neil. No, I'm not still in Viking Therapeutics. I think this was the wildest, I think the craziest wick that I've ever seen in my trading life that wasn't, like it wasn't some kind of like one-off stupidity fat finger that no one could have gotten involved in, or you couldn't have gotten fills in this. But this was legitimately what got me out of Viking. Like it was August like 19th. It legitimately went to 60. So great if you were going to be in there, but I was targeting here. Go like look at this. Like this is the area in the 50s where like I wish I could tell you I was smart enough to have had an order sitting in front of 59, but on the news I was sitting there and got swept up in the low 50s, and the next thing you know it was easily even trailing out as well on one single candle. So I was in and out of that one right quick off the 50 period hold. And now it looks good again. So I didn't get back into this when it held the 50 period again. I wish I could tell you that I did, but I didn't. Just be careful. When these guys drop news that's seemingly good, they dump hard. Good news, dump hard. Good news, dump hard. So just be careful when they have like some trial results coming up that you can get absolutely rinsed, but it also provides some upside because you did get swept up there. So I'm not in it anymore. I suppose I should have gone back in. It would have been a win, but I'm not. So I played, most recent swing was I'm now out of the UNH, looking for something else at this point. Oddly enough, I am thinking I should have maybe gotten to that open. Oh, I shouldn't. MP has been kind of dip buying, but I didn't really get into much of it. Didn't really get into much of MP down here. So even if it breaks the 50 period, I think I got 20% of what I wanted on that dip buy. Adara?
Yeah, I want to tell you guys here about these implied earnings moves for tomorrow. Now, there's only really 4 super noteworthy names that'll be day one earnings plays as of Wednesday, November 12th. Oklo is reporting tonight after the bell. Sean and I will give you guys that earnings report. But then tomorrow morning, we have ONON. We've got Circle, CRCL, and then we also have GFS, your Global Foundries. So if you want the implied moves on these earnings, tickers, check this out on X at TTV Research. Be aware, I already have an Oklo earnings preview infographic that's already on X. CRCL earnings preview infographic for tomorrow morning. That's going to be coming out shortly as well. So again, if you want earnings content, market content in general, X at TTV Research. If you ever have any content recommendations or things that you'd like to see on the account, just tag me, Adara LePage, in our YouTube chat. And yeah, I check there intermittently. So if there's any ideas that you want to see on that X account, please let me know. Back to you.
Okay, thanks.
I don't know if it goes up, but if it's a down move on Circle, it should lead that chart. It should lead the percent of movers, just because of what's under. There's nothing underneath here, man. We lose this $100 area with any gusto, and all you've got left is the earnings day open, which is all the way down at $70. So if I was a betting man, the problem with that is like it is already the highest expected move. So yeah, for me to tell you that I think it's going to be the biggest expected move is kind of, it's chalk. So I'm kind of picking chalk, I suppose.
No, I think it'll be. I mean, you saw CoreWeave to the downside. I think some of these newer names here have had their run for now, and Circle's a pretty nervous name, I think, for many investors. I want to, all right, so just talk about something here because I'm getting more out here on the futures. I don't, like we've seen this high now. We were only able to break through 12.10 once, 112.10 here, and we were able, and at that time we got 18s or 19s, and we haven't been able to do anything other than that. So now we're trying to get out as we fall back in. I'll still watch it against this 1150 or so area, but it's more like try to buy it if we could dip into this low, but I'm not, I don't know. I'd like to be here for the futures. ES still up, NASDAQ down, you know, trying to hover around the 50-period moving average, maybe coming back in right now. Could land somewhere around VWAP. So I don't want to be in this for too long. This is a triple Q, so it's triple levered into the NASDAQ. So let's think about slowing down a little bit. If it comes into the 60s, we'll try it right into here, and then maybe drop it if it gets into 50. I don't even want to hold it through here. Let's just see if we can get a low tick around here, hold it for 15 or 20 pennies, because that might be about a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 back to the top end of that trade. So that's what we want to do. And then also, I think I want to go short AMD. I was just looking at it here. A break of this level. I mean, I don't know why it's barcoding right now. I mean, I get the futures are kind of doing the same thing, but down 1.84%. I feel like, and again, without knowing it, I mean, I heard Adara's updates. I heard what Sharif and Joe, and we sort of started talking a little bit about what AMD was doing there on our rundown. But I guess it's nothing too impressive, or else I feel like it would be moving around a little bit more. So what about just a 39 break down? We'll take that short and then try to get a dollar out of it, you know, if we can do that, because the 200 period moving average is right here at 240. So get ready. Well, you don't have to get ready for anything, but I'm going to take a short on a 239 break, but also understanding here that the spread right now is 10 cents or so when it opens up and starts to trade. So, you know, just be careful where you're going to, you know, get punched into. See, now it's 13 cents. So I'm going to try that trade all the way back in to the downside. I know it kind of goes against what the NASDAQ's going to do, but they're not necessarily the one and the same here, the NASDAQ and AMD. So we'll wait to see if the NASDAQ has some room. But right now we'll trade AMD short side through 239 is something that I'm going to be looking at right now and giving it about $1. Try to play the momentum down. I don't know right now, especially if it breaks. Maybe we go back in and test some of these lows, which is 37s and change. So I think it gives us a little bit of odds in our favor here on this trade. So we'll try it.
It is a weird barcode. Considering you just had an event. When was the last time you saw stock do that after an event?
The fact is it might break and then doesn't go. Like it's just.
I hate that this is the one doing this right now. I don't.
Oh, SoFi?
I want SoFi to be breaking the high, not.
I like SoFi, yeah.
But I was about to say, like, I like SMCI for potential short, but then I might have already. Yeah, SoFi is breaking. You can see the trend that it's breaking right now, but I might have just missed the entry. So very clean. Look, SoFi actually had news today, which we get over, but I'll get to that in a second. Goes into yesterday's high, double tops or whatever, just consolidates off the top, now breaking the trend from the low. So I want to be short, if I can, as close to 80 as possible, or at least in the mid to high 70s, and then the prior bar is about 80, the high 80s, so risking 10 to 15 cents. If I even get picked up, because as you can see, literally as I was, Sean finished, I was like started to talk about it, it broke down in front of me. So got the offer out there. We'll see if I get picked up. It's been a strong stock. Why? Because the first charter bank to get or to allow crypto trading. So that's come online for them. Realistically, SoFi has been strong anyways. I don't think that's that big of a deal for them. Relative to the market, they're strong today, but this is just a simple trend break here on SoFi. If I get filled, which at this point is looking like a pretty big if on the way back in. OpenDoor did, in fact, pull back eventually.
OpenDoor, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
pull back off that 850 high. Hasn't gotten down to the 830s, but if it doesn't get all the way down there, play off the 40 level could be it. I just want to see it level off a little bit before getting in or start making some higher lows. So maybe the next 3-minute bar gets me into the long there on OpenDoor. So I did get picked up in SoFi. Zed in the chat, or Z, depending on how you like to say it, is there news on Coinbase?
What's crypto doing? 103? Bitcoin?
What's big? Wait, what are you?
103 is Bitcoin. Not that.
It's going down.
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of on Coinbase. Haven't heard anything. Bitcoin is at the low but flat. BMNR I know is tanking. So BMNR is tanking through the lows. Maybe it's just like. I don't know. There's no news that I'm aware of. It's been weak all day long. Could be just like the floodgates opening up when the bottom broke here on BMNR and Coinbase did the same thing. Could just be like a technical break when it lost 310. I'm guessing, I'm spitballing here because I didn't hear any news. I'm not aware of any news on Coinbase. That could just be a technical break, but it's been weak for a while. So I don't think it's needed an excuse to go down. On the plus side, I don't know if you have me long Coinbase, then Bitcoin's not exactly tanking. Maybe that holds it up. But no specific news there on Coin. That stock's in trouble. If you look at the daily chart, it doesn't look very good for Coinbase. If about 295 to 300 goes, which it hasn't yet, the big if.
Okay, so we actually did get into a short here on AMD. Again, you know, we said that, I mean, even when we went over to it, Neil was like, yeah, it looks strange. I said, you know, we could have like where it just breaks and then doesn't go. And unfortunately, we got punched in 87s. So right now we're short there, 87 here on AMD. So I crossed down 15 cents and basically got 15 cents. So that's fine. I was watching it, but not closely to see what it was trying to do there. But we'll have to wait to see now on AMD. I still want to average into it a little bit and give it a little bit of a break high side. So I don't know. We're not playing with a whole bunch of shares here, but we're playing with enough. So let's wait to see what winds up happening here now with AMD as it kind of just drifts a little bit higher against us. Maybe the market isn't the short, but I think if it is, AMD should help it as well. And we've just been getting out some more cues as we popped back up into 112 almost again there. Got some more outs. That's a 93 and a 95 or so. So we're just sort of easing out of this one as we wait to see what's going on with advanced micro devices. Just, where's my other short? Not yet. I want to get it closer to 240 here, just in case it does make, well, it is making a pop-up right now. So we'll see if it can hold out. And again, on news, who knows where this is going to go. We trying to look for a little bit of liquidity and a little bit of action here right now. So we'll see if AMD can give us that as we sit and wait for that breakdown, which now it's kind of breaking up. I mean, we could have chose this trade two ways. We could have gone long off those bottoms or waited for that break to happen. So Nvidia is making moves lower now as well. So maybe there's something there. I saw Intel was making.
Microsoft is beast mode right now.
Microsoft is in beast mode right now?
No, today.
Oh, today.
Oh, but it's rolling over. This is not going to be good for the futures. Softy could be breaking trend as well. Yikes. Yeah, I saw double top KT for the win as well, but that wasn't the reason I got into SoFi. But Microsoft could be turning it around. Just be careful. This was looking like a powerhouse
AMD,
to break VWAP, not VWAP, the 50 period on the daily. But if this loses the bid today, or Apple, one of the two, it's going to have to be one of these two because Microsoft and Apple have been doing a lot of heavy lifting, and they're both kind of teetering off the highs. Like you could get a bit of a trend break happening on those two names. That's what I'd be. If it's not the chips, that's what I'd be watching. SoFi might not get to VWAP here. Remember, this is a strong name, so trend break to the volume-weighted average price, which oddly enough is the exact same move it made from the same high yesterday. It went from the 31 top to 30.5, maybe 30.40, which is VWAP right now. So that is the target. It just slammed down and gave 65, then gave 55s. I'm bidding in front of 45, and I'll be all out if SoFi gets to that price. It's a bullish stock that just happened to make a trend break. Yeah, I'd be a little bit skittish if Apple and Microsoft were to roll over and do a trend break like SoFi did. Then we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, what did we do with, what was Meta doing? You just mentioned Microsoft there. I didn't, 625 again, okay. Yeah, it got pretty.
Not much.
Remember, we were talking, Joe, yesterday or whatever, was talking about that 617. That might be a good level because even today it bounces again off of 620 there before making a move higher. Right now, not into the close. We'll see where it goes into this close, but nice move higher there for Meta right now. Right back into sort of some early AM resistance. This could be, decent area for a short. Wish we maybe would have shorted this instead of AMD, of course, as we play the name with some news. That looks like that's going to break higher here. AMD just is at 240 right now, so we got to watch out for that to bust a little bit higher. But Meta on the comeback a little bit today from its lows. Some obvious sort of volume candles there near those lows, potentially indicating a reversal. These look like dark pools, so nothing really going on right there. But yeah, there it is right now. Meta upside up into 625. Interesting area here for META. Futures nicely moving higher here, as is my AMD against me. So one working, one not over here.
And for all of you sophisticated traders in Canada, we got some exciting news for you because Beta Pro by Globex is the largest provider of leverage, inverse, and inverse leverage ETFs. And they've launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. And on top of that, they're offering a special fee rebate. Management fees are going down to just 65 basis points until December 31st of this year. On top of that as well, the U.S. focus strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. So if you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3xdaily to learn more. And nothing wrong with that currency hedging, especially when the Canadian government is spending, and the Canadian dollar is tanking. I think we talked, yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Our deficits, I mean, obviously in notional, in absolute value term, it's not that ridiculous, but not good.
Yeah, who knows? I didn't even look too closely into that budget, but I can imagine.
We're spending a lot, and we have high unemployment.
Imagine it's not the greatest.
And there. Everything's going to be just fine.
Meta, did you just say?
What happened to Meta?
I don't know. I thought Adara said something about Meta.
I heard Meta out of her mouth there just now.
All right, so I wanted to say, like, right now with IBIT, we just sort of glanced over a little bit of Bitcoin right there, and you know it's coming in here, but you know it's not breaking. So these have been some decent levels. So again, 58.50, like you're not too far away that if this market does go for a little bit of a dip right now, what about picking up some Bitcoin nearing some kind of support right now for BTC, right? As the government shutdown appears to be, you know, closing in on a resolution, I would say. I think it's right now, it's on Kalshi, I think it was tomorrow afternoon or so. I see right here 40, so I don't know how they do this exactly by getting like us the 0.2 days. I don't know exactly what that means, but that would be the 13th. So today's 11th, 12th, 13th. So midday, I guess on Thursday is what they're talking about right now. So interesting there. So I don't know if the government shutdown would affect Bitcoin, but ever since, you know, the government got sort of on lockdown here, Bitcoin has retraced over 20% back down in again. So maybe that could, I don't really know the relationship with that and why that would spark one thing over the other, but could be something there for BTC. And then today we had another bump up, at least earlier this morning, and I haven't looked since, but gold, yeah, was up to 380, 382 for GLD, I believe. Yeah, so nice little upside there. Just in the pre-market, market opens up, we go for a dive, and now we're right back upside right now for GLD. So we'll have to watch out if there's going to be a play there, as it looks like a lot of gold was bought up there near the 50-period moving average. People just looking to get some exposure in an asset class that potentially they are limited in. So what's up, Adara?
Yeah, the AMD event is still happening. It's nothing really to write home about here, guys. As you can see, if you look at the AMD chart, it's been pretty choppy since that initial move in like the first hour or so. They're naming companies, but the stocks of the companies they're mentioning aren't even moving either. I really wanted to talk here about what I'm hearing from CBS News. Apparently, Saudi Arabia hosting a U.S.-Saudi investment summit on Wednesday, November 19th, so a week from tomorrow in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, Saudi Arabia and U.S. co-hosting an investment summit. If I get more details, I'll let you know, but certainly something to be aware of and to follow if that is being live streamed, because Noah will be covering that for you as well. Back to you.
Oh, I thought the I thought the AMD thing was over. So I don't. Well, I'm in it. I'm not in it too heavy.
So I'll cop that a bit because I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I thought it was over, and I think I said that I think I said it was over.
To be fair, it's about as interesting as like if it was over. Like Lisa Su, I'm sorry, it's just a lot of people talking. Lisa Su like left before 2 p.m. It's been random like AMD execs for a while now.
Oh, you get the randos out there. That's
okay. The well, I don't know. I thought it was over and it was like a nothing burger. It is dangerous, so I just covered a little bit more there. I'm just covering it for flat. Like I'm not. Well, that cover was out. That's why my average price keeps changing. We go with like the first in, first out method, so it'll just keep adjusting my price. But the average price I had was 65s or 67s or something on this. So it's not been a great move higher there. I honestly thought we were over. And then when we broke it, I was like, okay, we broke it. Let's just see if there's some downside there. Because the thing is like when they're announcing all these things, like, and it's not Apple, so it's not like, and one more thing or anything like that. I like something like that, especially with knowing that.
Watch them do that now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So something that like Lisa Su's not there anymore, if that's the case. So I hope that there's like nothing overly exciting about to happen, but we still have our same stops, 240.50 if it breaks. But we did just get out of a piece right there as we dropped in there. Once I heard right from Adara that this was still going on, I was like, nah, we don't need to have that much exposure into a name that is literally having their conferences right now. So we'll pass on AMD for now, and we do still have our stop. If it goes down from here, look, we're still short, hoping for a downside kick. But I am bidding in the 60s and then again in the 30s on the downside, hoping for better returns here from AMD.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like, you never really know. You got to keep your ear gun. And thank you, Adara, for not just telling us that it's still on, but giving you an idea that there isn't anything crazy happening right now. So you shouldn't necessarily expect anything. But that's just expectations. I moved it. Effectively, you got close enough to VWAP, so I moved my stop to break even when you get 2 levels down on SoFi. So if it breaks this wick, which is about 80s or so, I'm going to jump out of that trade. Someone was asking, they're like, short SoFi, why? Well, just a trend break. It's a strong stock. We love SoFi, and it's strong today, and they had a positive catalyst. But it was just a trend break on the 3-minute. OpenDoor is also, it did kind of tick into the 830 range and is trying to bounce in here. So this was the failed 850 pullback. Still has yet to really pull any kind of higher lows, but it's getting close enough to a curl that if it can close, here, it's going to do it right now. it's going to try and close this candle above 43, 44. That would signal an entry for me. And LFS, for the small cap traders out there, what is the name of this thing? Doesn't matter. LFS? It doesn't matter. It's halted to the upside. 525 is the current theoretical auction price. So I'd say that's worked out for anybody that's long. No one ever went broke taking profit, but that is a lot of volume to pull in the afternoon. It's doing more volume in the last couple of bars than it did at the open. That's not a normal sign, and actually is pretty solid, but that is a double up from a half an hour ago. It's literally doubled in a half an hour. So do your thing, but when you zoom it out and look at the daily chart, I don't know, would you take profit in front of $5? Personally, I would, but that's just my 2 cents. So it doubled up in a half an hour and is at the only resistance that exists for the stock on this reopen. But it's looking to open higher. So good luck to you on LFS. I will 100% not be paying for locates on that because that would just be dangerous.
There goes AMD.
Just not worth it. So hopefully I can get a setup here in open that'll get me into this. But if it doesn't start to show some strength off of this 830, 840 level, then there's not going to be an entry for me at all. I want this to bounce, but it's not bouncing yet. Still showing some lower highs, some wick tops. See all the red candles in the 3 minute? They're all like wick tops. I need the opposite. Give me a green candle with a wick bottom, and we get a reversal, and we can go long, scalp it to the high of the day.
All right, we we just got stopped out there on AMD, of course, as it was just sort of floating around a little bit there through 240. So yeah, we'll have to slap a fail on that one. It just didn't. Again, screwed that up. Like completely should have been more attuned to the fact that that conference was still going on. All right, so that was my bad. All right, Alibaba. This is a name that, again, like I really like this name coming back in here. I know if I buy it, then I am kind of fueling the AI trade even more in the account. And this is an interesting level for Alibaba. Like last time we came into here, we missed it. We were still bidding that 150 break. That order's stale now, but that's an interesting level here for sure for Alibaba coming back into 155, 156. So I almost feel like they reported a lot earlier, but Alibaba, no, 14 days, so it's late. Okay, I wasn't sure about what Alibaba's situation was there. But yeah, reporting late, so in 14 days, most of the reports that we're getting from these sort of hyperscalers have been great reports. It's just, we look to see what the guide looks like, and Alibaba, I think, will be fine. I mean, we heard some for COIN, some of their chips that were doing really well over there, and there is a demand, obviously, for Chinese product in China, as we hear from our president, Nvidia's president, I guess Donald Trump there, as what sort of chips will be allowed to go back and forth into China. So I think Alibaba, they could actually come out with a very nice guide if they start talking about some of the orders that potentially they've secured from, a Baidu or Tencent or whatever over there in China. We always know a lot more information about the things that are happening onshore rather than off. So it'll be interesting to hear what Alibaba and their meeting is like on the 14th. So sorry, in 14 days on November the 25th. So, man, that sucks. We did get back into AMD, and now we're able to take a little bit of profit on that as it comes right back into O's again, and we'll buy it. But we'll see if it can come back in and we can make a little bit of money back there on AMD. All right, so Dara, what's up?
Yeah, I'm seeing reports here that Coinbase is calling off its $2 billion deal for stablecoin startup BVNK. Again, reportedly, Coinbase calling off its deal here valued at $2 billion for a stablecoin startup called BVNK. Keep an eye on COIN, which is already and has been already careening here to new low of day. CRCL stablecoin play also going to be on watch, mostly because they report earnings tomorrow morning as well. So again, CRCL and COIN on watch as Coinbase reportedly calls off its $2 billion deal with BVNK. As we send you back to Sean and Neil, guys, make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, that seems like a problem.
Like, what does that mean for Circle? Because it's a stable coin story there, and you could see Circle actually went nicely there to the upside. Maybe there is just one ring to rule them all here, USDC. I don't know exactly what that. I mean, we're hearing it in our ears now that Coinbase is slightly off the lows right now.
Right back to the bottom.
Yeah, okay, right back down in again. Okay, so yeah, Coinbase, look at that level break. Like, this is what we thought would happen there with advanced micro devices, but no. Not quite that, but there goes Coinbase breaking again. We are power hour. We're over to Adara one more time.
Keep an eye on health insurers here, guys, especially ELV, Elevance. Now, I mean, not a ton of volume on this, but we did just get our second largest volume candle of the day in the 15-minute chart. CFO of the company saying at the UBS conference that he sees Medicaid margin declining by at least 125 basis points in fiscal 2026. So keep an eye on HUM, keep an eye on MOH, UNH, OSCR, CI, CVS, anything into the health insurance space. Again, commentary here from the CFO of Elevance Health saying they see the Medicaid margin declining by at least 125 bips in 2026. ELV, though, continuing higher. And again, not a ton of volume on this, so certainly elevated volume comparable to what it's done today. Back to you.
What was that comment? BVNK. Little Sebastian.
Schwarzenegger. Oh, it's a power hour, I think he's saying. He likes it goes power hour. Like
it sounds like Arnold. Does it?
Is it Arnold?
Can you play that again?
I don't know. I don't know if we have it again.
Can we play that again? I want to hear one. Oh, we can't? Oh,
yeah, we have to find
Never
that.
mind.
We have to find
That's
that.
my bad. No, I don't think. I didn't realize it sounded like Arnold. Awesome.
Power hour.
Get to the chopper.
Get me my shares.
There was Devo used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
It was funny. You know what's traders would have their shticks.
No.
Well, every now it was really
playing
good.
Around, of course, we have our own right here.
But his best one was when he would talk about the market makers, because then he would drop into the accent of like sometimes like European, like a Shizer. He would drop that, and then anyways, it doesn't really matter.
No, exactly.
He was big on
that's
on
why trading
Arnold.
floors are so much fun.
If he was making money, he was Arnold, but if he was losing money, he would be using different languages that you didn't think. He didn't think other people would understand him when he was cursing, let's put it that way. And when we all did. It's like, really? You think we don't know what Shiza means? Like, come on, bro.
That means you're swearing right now then, I guess.
Well, oh yeah, I guess I did.
Nice job, Neil. Yeah, so we're now 55 cents in. We did get stopped out a little bit there on our AMD trade, but it's coming back in just a little bit as we look to take some more profits. I'm bidding 50s. We'll see if we get. I'm actually bidding 57s. Okay, we just got hit down there. Now to the downside, looking to see if we get some 239 flats right now on AMD as it's coming back in just a little bit here. So we'll wait to see if there's any love for us there, and then on the TQs as well. I did want to show you quickly here because it's into the most famous hour, of course, power hour, as we've just discussed. Coming back in here. So let's have a quick little look. I mean, this is what's leading the way here today. Eli Lilly on March there into 1,000. Its high of the day is 5 cents away right now from that $1,000 marker. All right, what's up, Adair again?
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at AIML because your heart will beat 100,000 times today. And each beat, that's a data point. AIML Innovations, trading on the CSE under the ticker AIML, and the OTCQB under the ticker AIMLF. They turn that into data. They turn that data into potentially life-saving insights with Max Yield, which is an AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat with lab-grade precision, and shrinks ECG analysis from days into minutes. But their mission is to revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, and prevented. Learn more at AIML.health and follow AIML_Innova on X. Back to you.
There's another example of like different AI
100,000
opportunities there. Did you do the math?
Oh yeah, it's if you're 70 beats a minute, then yes. If you're 60, then it's just obviously it's like
okay, cool.
So
interesting stat there. Yeah, that sounded a lot.
Well,
100,000 beats.
It did, and then I was like, oh well, it depends on what you're.
I mean, I know you can drop the beats, on everybody right now.
I was doing double that during the playoffs. I can promise you that.
Oh, I guess
so. Remember I said a break-even stop on SoFi, rules-based. It doesn't get all the way to VWAP, but you don't want to let this strong stock get in your way. If it does a topping tail, I'm done trading this name. I don't really, whatever. It gave you the trend break. The trend break either gets to VWAP or it doesn't, but it got 2/3 of the way, which was good. While that was happening, SMCI did its curl off VWAP, which I was waiting for. There's the push into VWAP. There's the curl off VWAP. I'm short, looking for a breakdown toward the low, even though the market's strong. SMCI has been weak. It's been short since its earnings, and actually before that, like the 2 days before, was also a short. And then OpenDoor finally, well, we'll see. it finally gave that break, the consolidation that I was looking for, kind of off 836, and then was breaking higher. So stop underneath that 36 at 35 and look to see if this can get back into the high. OpenDoor relatively strong, SMCI relatively weak, and wow, SoFi couldn't quite get that 31 though. It broke. It's tempting to want to get back into this if it wicks the top, but I think that's probably a dumb move, so I'm not going to do it. Lee just said, is BBAI a buy near the low? I think it was the first time. I don't know about the second time through. I think if you had it at 6 here, like that, yes. It's consolidating there, so maybe if you just really like something sitting sideways where you're risking 3 cents on the chance that it just breaks out, fair enough, but it's just going sideways off that level. Breaking trend down, that's the moment to grab it. You had to wait all day long for that trade. I was a little early with BBI, so I'll slap a fail. Whoops, I'm not even on that one. I have a fail on my BBAI because I really thought that was going to do a good clean dip buy like after the first couple of 15-minute candles, and then timing was wrong on that one. But we're in OpenDoor now, SMCI to the south side, and let us know what else you guys are watching. We got about an hour left in the day, and outside of that LFS, which by the way is still going higher, 200% to the upside. Outside of this thing, nothing's going crazy on volume, and I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole after looking at the daily chart.
All right. Yeah, I don't. I mean, those are some of the ones. GLTO was one that I know that some people were looking at that was running around as well. But yeah, I was at a Veterans Day assembly this morning with my kids at their school. So they both performed, and my eldest was an MC. So that was exciting. So that's why we weren't here this morning. We want to thank our good trading partner, comrade, Obi, for stepping in this morning. So thank you, Obi, for all of that. Yeah, Tesla, I was going to look here, Ford up a little bit here, GM up, but Tesla red as that goes through as well there today. And then just checking out some of these chip names. We're looking at AMD. We're out of that name now, but Broadcom, Micron down 4%. Nvidia also down that 2 and a bit percentage points there today. Micron's this interesting one. I wonder what SNDK is up to today, because SanDisk has been on a run there recently, probably pulling back just a bit now as well.
It was relatively strong all morning long. When everything else was breaking down, SNDK, it failed. It just would not break support. I remember because when we were ending the morning show, I was like, this breaks down, I'm going short. But I'm not in love with the actual low of the day break. So I was looking to kind of a fail break and then short the pop back in. Never happened. Held the low. Still, it's green or barely green on a day where some of the other chip names have not done so well. It's just the momentum on this stock is ridiculous. This isn't the chase for me. I'm just waiting for like a good setup. I'm willing to miss a short to try to be short this stock, like today. Like if you got early and waited and didn't wait for confirmation, you got blown out on SNDK. But I think there's going to be a short on the stock soon, at some point. Adara?
Yeah, not only is this AMD event still happening, they actually just took an intermission. So they're going to be back at 3:30 p.m. to discuss the client gaming business. But yeah, guys, in case you did not know, which is very understandable because I haven't mentioned it much, AMD is still having their event. And the reason I haven't mentioned it much is because there has not really been anything market-related of note to be said. A lot of people are quite literally repeating commentary already made by CEO Lisa Su during her comments, which again, those are well over an hour ago at this point. So again, AMD event still happening, likely not worth being worried about, but I will continue when that intermission ends at 3:30, and I'll still be covering it for you guys live. Just wanted to provide an update on advanced micro devices. Back to Neil and Sean.
Who does an intermission at an investor event?
I mean, it's like they sell tickets to these things, they're doing this, they're doing that.
It's not just that. They also were like, guys, I'm sorry, we're 5 minutes behind schedule. We are 5 minutes behind schedule. I'm like, I don't think people are that sad about it, but thank you, Mr. AMD.
Schedule?
Like, it's just pretty funny.
Can you get some like beer and peanuts or something? Well, popcorn too, I guess. You mean the opera? Like, what are we
throw
talking
some rotten
about?
tomatoes around on there?
I don't even understand what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But why not? I guess if it's long enough and for some people boring enough, I bet you they do sell. You can probably get a drink.
Yeah,
you probably get a nice drink there at the intermission. It's AMD. It's probably really pimp.
Yeah, who knows?
Seriously?
Well, Yeah, you got to pay for it, I would assume. Yeah.
Come on, man. These analysts, expense account.
Oh,
Pay-
yeah,
pay
yeah.
for
They're not
nothing.
worried about that.
They're living that good life.
They're not worried about it. We were looking at some of the sectors there before. We threw over to Darren. I just want to look at one
you see
more.
healthcare?
Yeah, we did. Not healthcare. I saw health
health
technology.
technology, sorry,
We
that's
can go over healthcare in a minute. But I just want to say, because of most of these financials, I didn't see Coinbase is going to be on there. Robinhood, still a little sick with it. They're down 3%. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem there, I guess, with Coinbases. I was saying that yesterday. Like, if you are attached at the hip with crypto, you don't want to hold Bitcoin, Robinhood, and Coinbase. If those are like your three primary holdings there, you're not well diversified. If we play that game, am I diversified? You're not, is the answer. But I would just be careful with all of those plays. I think they are very intertwined. But there it is. JPMorgan actually just made all-time highs today. I think around 319 I thought I saw this morning. Could be off on, 319.56. Yeah, so new all-time highs this morning for JPM, although down right now. Must be pulling back Goldman Sachs, BAC. So a lot of strength there in financials here one more time today. So just watch out for that. And then, health services over here. UNH rebounding today. Oscar, I bought some more yesterday. It's not on here. Humana there, just some good little levels that are trying to bounce off. We did get some questions the other day. And as the government gets back in, back into session, I guess, hopefully some of these, the health services and whatnot will start to be talked about more and more. So we'll wait to see what UNH is going on there, as there's that whole Obamacare thing. I think it ends December 31st. They got to get that all figured out by. So hopefully there's some sort of a resolve and all that. I'm not going to pretend like I have any idea what is going on with Obamacare and whatnot. What was that for?
I'm going to throw up a poll, but I want something different.
Yeah, let's
yesterday.
do a poll.
Yesterday, in the last couple of days, we've been trying to pick what the biggest expected move is going to be on earnings. But I'm thinking, can we just agree that that Circle or Oklo are the two biggest ones? Why am I on Oracle? You know what's hilarious is, I meant to pull up Oklo.
Yep.
So how about between Circle and Oklo, if you had to buy one before earnings, which one would you buy? This is a gun to your head. There's none of this neither nonsense. I'm not even making that an option. If you had to buy either Circle or OKLO going into earnings, which I'm literally typing as we speak. That's why I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah. Type it in.
I'm not crazy.
Well, wait, just Oklo. What was the question you're trying to do?
Which you have to buy one before earnings, Circle or Oklo. That is you get two choices. That's it. I have to log back in as myself so I can.
For me, I think it would be Circle, to be honest with you, because I'm really worried about what happened to SMR. I know, look, every stock is going to be a different beast in of its own, but like SMR has really been getting like crushed.
Yes.
And Oklo is not quite at this level yet to the downside the way SMR is. I mean, like we said, man, $56, $57, $58 top, down into $26, so into half already, and blasted through the 50-period moving average. We thought we were doing pretty good buying it there at the 50-period on earnings day, but now day 3, still to the downside. So if you're looking at Oklo, then I'm just looking over here and saying to myself, like, you do have quite a lot of risk here to the downside, because you're still not even at that 200-period moving average like where SMR is, all the way down there. So I don't know. It's by a thread right here. And if you break through, obviously you have that $100 just kind of chilling out there waiting for you to hold. And if that doesn't hold, then just a $100 break gets us down 7%. So I don't know. What are you thinking? I didn't even look at the Circle chart, really. I know Circle's at a
while I was doing that, they ran the stop on OpenDoor.
Oh.
And it's right back up, which is, whatever.
They opened it and closed it, I guess.
I know that, but that's why you use a stop order. So long here, looking for the high of the day, and then stop out there. We'll get to SMCI in a quick little second.
That's a pretty good question. It's
someone just said CoreWeave is bad. It is a difficult one. And the funny thing about it is, I even said earlier that I think Circle can go lower. But if I'm only looking at the chart, it's hard to make the argument not to prefer Circle here. I don't know that if I had to hold one, I prefer this. I prefer Oklo in terms of the space right now, but where the price is, I got to go with Circle. It's holding on to $100. Like, it's actually holding that support. So, gun to your head, which one looks like it has a better chance? And as you said, the problem with Oklo, Whoops, Blue Ocean always the first thing that comes up, which is.
Oh, oops, I voted Oklo, but yeah, I was saying
like,
Circle is the one I want.
It's like gap, like there's still like a sizable gap into here, which it's almost like it's gravity of that level. Whereas you've already pulled back into the most significant level that exists for Circle is right here for potential bounce. Whereas Oklo, the most significant accumulation level is literally 40% lower. So I'll err on that side. But I think it's one of those questions where a lot of people, and we didn't give you the option, would probably choose none of the above going into earnings. But that's the fun of it. If you don't get to choose none of the above, you have to pick one, even if it stinks. Dale Carnegie, great last name.
There we go.
I cannot send super chat, but I wanted to tell you you're absolutely awesome. You're awesome too, Dale.
Yeah, I found that up there, and I was like, I'm just going to send this because, yeah, not everybody has a credit card hooked up, or, you know, it doesn't, we don't. It's nice to get the super chats because we're able to obviously highlight them on the show, and it does go to help everything that we're doing around here. But we do appreciate.
Or maybe we have beer and wings sometimes.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that at some point.
Instead of the renovations for you guys, we'll just eat food. No, I'm kidding.
$100 billion chip revenue within 5 years, I'm hearing right now for AMD. I have no idea if that number is good or not, but you see, we just got chopped around a little bit here. Not much damage done on this stock, but we are down on it. Just top end, bottom end, and we wind up at the middle. So, yeah, I guess that 239 break was no good, but I guess it would have gone against you about $1.50. That was the max there that we got stopped out, and then we were able to make a little bit of money on the way back in before punching out again. So kind of just a back and forth little dipsy-do here with advanced micro devices. There's that JPMorgan pullback that I wanted to talk about. We're still not, it's not like we're pulling back an immense amount from that level, but there it is right there. So I love the financials. We talked about how much, you know, like I'm trying to buy more SoFi on dips. We've talked about that. And then really, JPMorgan was the one play that I made right off of the, right here, off of that dip. I got long at 230 actually, playing right into here off support that goes all the way back to a year ago in October. Now this is last March. And so I've held this for quite a while. And I bought it there and thought like, oh my gosh, this was so great. Like that just went up 10% almost in a heartbeat. And then of course, as Trump was threatening all that tariff stuff, and then boom, we get that. Back in April there, and it had the tariff tantrum, and the whole market sort of fell through, and I was like, oh God, what have I done? And I not foolishly, but we didn't really break 200 there. We were just waiting for it. There was chaos in the market, obviously, this is daily. So JPMorgan went from 240 to 230 to 211, basically, and then these little wick bottoms are almost impossible to catch, and then straight up to the upside there on all of that, right? So it's been really good on the rebound. It did not dip into 280. The lowest it got was this 290 area. So, you know, off of earnings. And now, again, if you're looking at a bank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 16 straight up days or so right now for JPMorgan, counting about 2 red. And then today it's coding red, but let's see if it actually winds up that way. So, yeah, I think I like some JPMorgan in and around these levels for sure as we break higher. So I think 320, maybe even a spot to add to something for JPMorgan on the upside there. So yeah, I do like that play, and I know a lot of you are talking about that as well, looking for some bank plays. And then Robinhood's the one that's down today. And with crypto going lower, I hate that they're kind of connected, but I do think that if we do get a rally for Bitcoin, we should see Robinhood. And didn't SoFi announce?
You could long JP or the XLF if you don't like your overexposure and to like crypto. Let's just say you were a person that was in all of those things that you were mentioning before, like in a little bit too much, and you had some cash and you wanted to like not necessarily bet against those. You could, instead of allocating more to them on the way down, you could buy some traditional banks for a little bit of a hedge, maybe.
Yeah.
But I got.
You said that what? It was SoFi today was announced.
No, the crypto trading. So there's a.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great.
There's that could have been, like maybe that's one of the reasons for some weakness in Hood, and then obviously Coinbase with its news, some trouble. Coinbase, by the way, stinks.
Ouch.
Right now. No, it's not. It's a price action on this. Like, look at, you accumulate this long to not break out. I wish I had seen this. We haven't looked at Coinbase for a trade in a while, but that's a big time flat bottom technical break. All that said, zoom out and look at what happened at 300. It's still holding this big support with a reversal candle at the 300 level. So until this regains the bottom or breaks the bottom, I think you got some cover, but the downward trend looks like it could fall apart. I think if it breaks that 300, like this breaks down, you wait for that 240 and then grip it and rip it. That's one. You know, if you're not looking for a level like this when 290 breaks, then I don't know what you're looking for. It's kind of like going up there, look in an RBI spot, you get a fastball down the middle and you don't swing. That's one of my pet peeves. It's like, what pitch were you looking for? Especially if you're a fastball hitter. I'll never understand that. But
I know it doesn't make any sense when you get that green light there on 3-0. It's like, just look dead red, man, right down that pipe.
No, my coach, if you go down looking after 3-0, you're on the bench. You're seeing bench. If you had a 3-0,
like 3 straight.
No, if you had a 3-0 count.
Oh, if you had 3-0,
and you go down looking.
Okay.
And you get.
So you could swing for the first.
My bad. If you got three fastballs.
Okay.
And the end result was you going down looking, you're seeing bench.
Right.
As you should. Bench.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. Say. Okay, bench that man. All right, so Palantir, by the way, AMD is starting to come down a little bit, but here, let's go over to Alex Karp and company and see what they're up to. Join myself at Dara, and Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends will be on this recap show where we're going to talk Oklo and Circle, and hopefully a couple other things as well, as we'll have some content for you, and talk to Brian about some trade ideas. So get those ready to go. If there's any charts that have sort of, you know, maybe we've looked at them and you want to get another opinion, or you're looking at it, stay tuned. Brian Shannon, of course, coming from Alpha Trends. You can find him on StockTwits and on Twitter or X. But yeah, there goes Palantir at the day's high. No, not exactly at the day's high. Look how choppy this was this morning. I mean, I wasn't here to trade it, but wow, like pretty choppy here for Palantir. Just into the open there, made a move up to 195.60 3 times or so before dropping. 192.50. What am I talking about? What, not 195.50, 192.50 before dropping down $5, and then again so they made a top, he gave it to you right there, and then they said, oh, you know, that's nice. What about this trade? Right into there again. So gave you a top and then gave you the double bottoms again there for PLTR, and right now back near the high side. The strategy for me going into the close is you try to find, you know, which direction you're favoring right now, and I'm not really looking long. I don't think. We're now underneath the 50 period with only 30 minutes to go, looking to break lower. We've been getting out. I'm just going to get out of this right now at 86 if we can get out of everything. I'll just get out right now at 83 if we can. There it is. So the TQs comes back up into some 83s there. We get those fills, as you just saw that. So now we're going to dump out of it. No losing trade there for us on the TQs. But yeah, having a little bit of an opinion here about a sell side scenario into the close. So let's get out of the Qs and then maybe look for something that might be a little bit weaker. We had messed with, I could use more dramatic words, but on AMD, and you know, we fought the law, and the law won sort of on this one as we got stopped out right there at 240.50. Now back down $1 from that level, but with that conference, as far as my knowledge, still going on or in intermission right now. So we're gonna go away from that, and that leads me to a story we'll talk about here on the after show as well is CoreWeave, and there goes CoreWeave back down into that downside one more time, and just waiting to see if we can hold some of these levels. If we get anything near the 200 period moving average as we look to short some of these names, that is one for me on CoreWeave. Down 16% today. What was its high? 180s? Yeah, 180 and change.
Yeah, that's bad.
But it's at a level where it's decision time.
That and Circle, they're both at, that one has more to drop though. I feel like Circle's at the more key level, but they're both at key levels. There's some early look imbalances. New and mostly sell side. NU 1 million sell. I'm just gonna read the ones you guys care about. SMR sell 850,000, Snap 720,000. Archer, this one's interesting. 650,000 to sell. Archer is a big upweight tomorrow. The Russell 2000.
Ooh.
Archer is, we get the number.
Why tomorrow? Why the 12th? Why are they
I have no idea why it's tomorrow. It's a very random day. It's not a Friday. It's in the middle of the month. It doesn't make any sense. But it's a 7.5 million net shares to trade. Archer Aviation, the Russell 2000 for tomorrow. So if for some reason that flips to a big bid today, it might be worth a trade. Oh, of course Archer's flying today. Why did Archer do this? What was that about?
Good pun, Archer's flying. That's a good one. I don't know. I have beef with Sharif today because
beef? What did he do?
Yeah, because he kept on calling this GLTO gelato. That
love
just makes
gelato.
me remember Rome,
gelato.
and that just makes me think about actual gelato. This is Galactico. My favorite gelato is pistachio.
Where's the best? Where can you get good gelato here?
In here?
Yeah.
No,
but
like downtown?
No, but like
Ramin's better at.
literally close to us.
That's, yeah. I never get anything around here. There used to be this place up at St. Clair La Paloma, which was really amazing. Forget Petite, I forget what it's called there in the junction, but we go there as well. Right here, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. Italy.
Italy?
Actually, which is right there at Bay and Bloor. They have a whole bunch of gelato. My kids get it all the time when we go to Sherway. Italy, right here. Yeah, actually that's pretty good. And they have a lot of different flavors, but that's a good.
It's
spot.
one of the best parts of Rome is you don't have to walk very far.
No. My kids research and they said every day in Rome, I think around 5 p.m. is gelato o'clock. So I think they made that up just to scam me. So every day around 5 o'clock, they're like, gelato o'clock, let's roll. And then so we had to get gelato, and then of course, oh well, we're done dinner.
Between lunch,
gelato time.
Between lunch and dinner, when you're walking around, what would happen is you'll walk past and you'll see a bunch of people coming out of a place.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then you're obligated to go in and get some gelato.
Oh, there's so many nice places there in Rome.
Erin would always get more than she could eat.
So bad with
I would have to finish it, which is terrible. I mean, the worst thing as a parent is when you have to finish your kids' treats. It's just it's awful, and you know.
Yeah, horror awful. Just absolutely, I never want to be able to do that. Yeah. Okay. Let's. So that's why I have beef with Shui.
We should go get some this week.
See what I'm saying? So this is why I have beef.
We should get
over there. But we should all be getting some gelato.
We should.
Around here. Maybe we will do that. All right, so moving forward now, there's GLTO. So yeah, Galactico, the name here that sparks said conversation. Now coming back into VWAP, so a good little level there. What is the news, Ms. Adara, if I may bother you? Yeah, okay, so it looks like this is a day 2 play here for GLTO off of yesterday, continuation. It looks like we've done this before. This could be a reverse split, yes?
I have news, if I may. So, GLTO, apparently they're strengthening their blood cancer pipeline with this deal with Demora Therapeutics. And now they have funding until 2029. So, funding, therapeutics deal here for GLTO. Again, that was as of Monday morning. I do believe this was on our watch list yesterday as well.
Yeah. It's not a unfamiliar name. Thank you. Oh, here we go. We have something for that.
Thank you very much, Dara.
Yeah, so there you go. So there it goes. Nice. It's funding secure, so that's always nice to see. But yeah, what a surprise. Up to $36 just a month ago, and pretty much up to that level again. So I feel like if we are trading this name and you're looking to possibly get out or look for some more liquidity, that's a couple times in a row now, going back a month into $35 to $36. So a good high over there.
I'm contractually obligated to put this question up from Guy at LAX. It's not even close. It's rum and raisin.
Oh, yeah.
All day, every day, rum and raisin is my favorite ice cream and the best I've ever had. And I wish the shop was still open. There was a little tiny, downtown Antigua, St. John's. Antigua's an island in the Caribbean. There was a little wine shop, and then there was also like this tiny ice cream shop. And you go there, you get your ice cream, finish that, and there was these 2 Australian ladies that owned this little wine shop, and they were like the coolest people you ever meet. You go there, get a glass of wine,
yeah, of course,
or just sit there after getting your ice cream and shoot the whatever. I love island. Island life is unbelievable, but ice cream tastes so much better down there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that it's out.
Well, it's called quality of products used in making said. It's like when you go to Italy, it's like, oh man, I have no idea why the pasta is so much better. Yeah, no preservatives.
The bread.
It's just it's the freshness of everything, and yeah, that's the one thing. That's why traveling is so important to do, because you get to experience all of the different.
Wow, they really rugged
delicacies and everything there. What happened to OpenDoor there?
I think that was a prelude. So they ran my stop here, and now they've run it down into VWAP here in OpenDoor. So I think this is just a standard pullback. OpenDoor is not as strong as it was the last 2 days. Like yesterday, and I guess that's actually Friday. So Friday and yesterday were much better long trades. It was a good long trend. It's probably still a chance to hold VWAP, but no, it looks like they're taking it out. to the downside. Oh, by the way, before we go back up to Adara, Rivian actually breaks a high today, so that was also a hold as well. Let's go to Adara at the desk. Only 30 minutes left.
The event is back on. Yes, guys, this event has still been happening. It started at 1 p.m. It shows no sign of stopping. They had a brief intermission, but guys, they are coming back. Apparently right now there's a voice in my ear telling everyone to take their seats. So just so you know, this is still happening again. Nothing really to let you guys know about, but the guy who told us about the intermission said that next up we're going to be talking about their client and gaming segment. So be aware that is happening. Back to you.
I guess like an analyst event, when you really think
down.
about it, like how exciting is that supposed to be? It's not a product. It's not a product launch. Like once you get the CEO out of there and you're really just talking about the nuts and the bolts, it probably gets a little bit
and bolts too.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, now it goes like, okay, so now they're back and it starts to go down. Like, I don't know. I guess they're not too excited about their gaming, but I thought we had good gaming revenue on their report. I feel like that was one of the drivers for AMD. So if they're going to start talking about gaming, I would think that that might be something to pay attention to here. But we're starting to pick up a little bit of volume maybe here. I don't know, maybe not. As we break through 239. I mean, that was the thing that started me down this warpath with this stock, and then we eventually wound up losing on that break. So thanks AMD for that. But now you're going back to the downside looking until we get like some real information there from Adara, meaning not real, but just like something that they're saying that affects either the numbers or the projections or something like that, then maybe leave this thing alone. But yeah, AMD, look, we already called the move down, right? We got out of our NASDAQ position right there. And it's not that the market's really moving that aggressively one way or the other right now. But we are starting to tick a little bit lower. Whatever we talked about, I mean, Webull continues. I mean, you know, as I said, I still feel that most of these names are trapped in, and I want to say like crypto purgatory a little bit, because as this continues to go down, I mean, Webull's had a real nasty run of it as of late. We talked about JPMorgan, and you know, everything's all good and great when this is going up, and you know, you're really laughing at what kind of bottom maybe has been put in. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go 26 days. Oh, what do you mean? I can just do the math. Okay, starting from September, October 1st. So,
we just call it a month.
That's about 26 trading days. Wow, that was actually pretty good. So over there, about 26 trading days or so, we only have like maybe one salvation right into here. It looks like October 23rd, 24th, where we bumped off of 1050 and got into 1150. And then that was a nice story, because then you're followed by a week and a half of just straight downside pressure onto this name and back to all-time lows right now for Webull. So yeah, no, you don't buy names that are trending all-time lows. So I'm going to wait for it. I'm still in the name. It's not that I'm not in it, but in it to win it and not in it to get stopped out, because I would have not taken as many positions on this. You know, like it's not like I'm loaded into this, knowing that this is a possibility. Just kind of like why I like SoFi. I think they're more of a mature company there with the bank license. And just more of a name than a Webull. Webull's still operating a lot in China, so that's another possibility with FXI coming back in. Some of the Chinese names have gotten hit a little bit lately. I was watching, we already talked about
Baba,
the play in Alibaba, and Tencent also. I mean, FXI here on the daily doesn't look so bad, but they've had sort of their moves, right, as we wait to hear what the next story with China is. And we heard that maybe a possible deal with India or terms changing or something. I think that was yesterday, or maybe that was this afternoon. But yeah, China's actually not as bad as I thought. I thought they were a little lower right now, so they've actually retaken here on FXI now. It would more be if you're looking at China names, you want to look at KWeb, which would be the Chinese internet stocks. So this would be something there, looking at like I said, an Alibaba or Baidu, Tencent, Pinduoduo, whatever. But yeah, there goes KWeb. So.
Oddly enough, somehow Pinduoduo is the only one in the U.S. index.
Yeah.
Why? And they don't. The S&P doesn't actually have to explain their logic. They don't. They have rules, but why them and not Alibaba? I've always kind of wondered that. Two things. One, I'm very close to just getting out of SMCI. There's your VWAP play, but it already bounced. Now it's bouncing pretty clean off of morning support. This is where it broke out before, so obvious kind of one out there. And if we can't break this 38.9, I'll just jump out there. It only gives you a quarter, it looks like, off the VWAP short. Oh, of course it's gone the second I went to. So a second ago, CVX had a 5 million imbalance a second ago out of nowhere. So if that pops up again, it's worth watching. And it was to the sell side. It was a 5 million sell imbalance, and the stock was going down like this. So CVX was, I mean, it's still breaking lower, but some of that move breaking the low of the day was because there was a 5 million sell imbalance. It's now gone. If I see it pop up again, I'll let you guys know. Right now, Kenvue is a buy, and that could be something. Sometimes this will move on the close. Only about 15 minutes until we have the imbalances. And Kenvue also falling similarly off the low of the day, but that's a buy imbalance. So that could be interesting. Because if it ends up a buy imbalance and this is literally cratering, that would be a good opportunity. But that's a weird move on Kenvue at the end of the day for a buy imbalance. Maybe it'll be a flip at 355. So I'll have that on watch, maybe some CVX as well. But yeah, now you're breaking trend. I'm going to get out of that SMCI. Looks like it should have been more Rivian. Just hang on to Rivian today. Shout out to Randy. Another 9%. Is there a stronger stock in the last few days than Rivian? I don't know. Tell me. What's better than this in the last week?
Probably not. It's probably not that much.
13. It's not. Well, it's only up 40%.
40, yeah, it's not bad. And of course, off earnings play, so yeah, it's going to give you that kind of love back in there as well. It looks like we were right about the futures, like right into there, another drop, right into the 200 period, right into 75. Like that's pretty much where my, not pretty much, that's exactly where my bids were. So unfortunately, we'll sort of suffer through not having the bid there and sort of changing our opinion a little bit on where this market was going. But watch out if that does break. I am thinking about a little bit of a short. With only 15 minutes to go, though, it's an interesting call because not knowing. Again, I'm not worried about the AMD. We talked about Circle being a little nervous about that call coming forward. We talked about Oklo, a little nervous hands as well. What about that short right there to end the day? It's not horrible. Looking at a little bit of a longer, yeah. So you're still kind of jammed up into here. It's not like that break really gives us that much back in, but that is, yeah, I know AMD is now starting to go lower, of course, when we had that short. Just wish we would have thought about that a little bit more. Okay, so 111.70, that move would get you down into 111.50. Might not be worth battling any sort of imbalances or anything that we're going to come later on. So I think I'm going to pass on that, but that's not a horrible look, I don't think, again, either, for a short there on the Qs if it can't hold it. There goes. So I've only made 2 trades. We danced with the devil here on AMD, and we just went short, and the purple is short. And right now, the fact that we're $1.50 or so, $2, sorry, below where we actually stopped out. I just hope that some of you had held that. We had exactly the right idea, but unfortunately should have given it to VWAP. But you know, you never know with these conferences, you know, where you're going to go from there. So, you know, they come back in session and it is straight down just to see if Oklo is doing anything before the earnings. Yeah. So, you know, we are scared about Oklo. We're scared about Circle, but there goes Oklo down another 6% in change as some of these power names are getting beat up just a little bit right here ahead of earnings.
You know who's not getting beaten up? LFS. The stock is now 200, and this is after pullback. It's 280%. It hits $7.40. Oh, this is going to be silly potentially tomorrow. I don't know what happened on October 10th, but the wick says 850 is the high, so respect that if you want. But this stock is clearly unabated. The liquidity is, despite doing 22 million shares, I just want to show you what this looks like on a level 2. Not as good as you would think. Like, there's some bids out there, but it's not a ton of liquidity for a $6 stock. Like, you can absolutely have like 1 or 2 people hit the bid and have this drop $1 right quick. Kurt Hoffman, question, which is better, SMD or Intel long? SMD, did you mean AMD? I'm assuming you meant AMD. I have to assume you meant AMD. If I had to buy one and hold one at these prices, I'd probably take AMD. I'm just being real about this. Like for Intel, you've doubled. It's a double from the lows. That's great, but they've got a lot of boxes they need to check. A lot of boxes they need to check for the foundry business to work and the turnaround. And so the accumulation and the government involvement, that gave you the double from 19. As I don't know what gives it the next leg higher in the short term. Whereas AMD at least has, if this run isn't done in AI, then AMD's got a little bit, I think, more legs to go. Do I like either one of them to buy right here? No, I recently sold some AMD, so I can't really tell you that, but if I had to pick one gun to head, it's gonna be AMD over Intel. That's just me. What else we got? Do we have a super chat that we missed? Because I see one from Sam, so I'm gonna assume that we didn't get this super chat. I'm gonna throw it up there. Lulu bro before too late, plus I need your thoughts for Lulu. Okay, so you want me to buy Lulu, which I'm pretty sure I told you guys I already did. And then you want my thoughts on Lulu, which I'm pretty sure, Sam, you already know, which is fine. There's a monthly chart. There's consecutive closes over the 200 period on the monthly. I've nibbled in 20%. If the month closes green, then I buy more next month. And just on the pure monthly chart, room to 225, 275, 325. Those are the three targets, bingo, bango, bongo. But it's on a monthly chart, so it could take a while for this trade to materialize. But I am in 20% of it right now. So those are my thoughts, and I don't think it's too late. Because if the setup's on a monthly and it's been 3 bottoming tails, you've had 3 months at this low. So I don't think you're going to miss the trade when there's this much opportunity. But it's just a trade. I'm not invested in Lululemon in the long term here or anything like that. So there you go, Sam. Hopefully that's what you're looking for. Although I feel like you just wanted me to bring it up and you knew what I was going to say because I've already said it a few times.
Yeah, I've been in Lululemon since the last quarter, right before earnings, and we bought it on the 3rd day, and now we're just hovering around down probably 8, 9, 10% or so on that trade. Okay, oh, another trade. Yeah, we haven't looked at Target. Wasn't a name that I'm in too. That's actually holding out pretty good. We did touch up to $100 right there, and then a nice fall back in. The good thing is it still actually bounces off even levels, bounced off levels higher than where we're in. So far so good there as Target's been holding out. I think there's possible comeback stories in retail. Looking at Nike. If you're looking for something that's been beat up, this is down 19% on the year, is NKE. So that still continues to make moves lower, but bouncing off of, again, potential area right there. So Nike making a move now as well as SBUX, I think is another name here. They divested some of their Chinese operations. So I think Starbucks can get back up to the upside again as well as, just some of these levels, man. This is what we're talking about. $80, pretty good level there, up to 86. So you get your 10% or so if you bought the ultimate bottom. But nice move there.
Stay on target
for Starbucks, right there to the upside. All right, so Oracle is down again, another couple percentage points. Again, if OpenAI can't find this pile of cash that they promised everybody, then yeah, Oracle there came out with a $300 billion, something like that, forward guide, and a lot of that was related to some of the deal that they had there in the data center for OpenAI, and that's, I don't know if it's in question or not, but that's really been getting crushed since earnings, all the way back into pre, where they reported, and they went all the way up to $340. I remember that day, I was like, oh my God, this huge name was up 40%, like, wow, Oracle, and now it's all the way back in again. So you've lost 40% of your value right there in just a matter of 2 months on Oracle, so we'll have to wait to see. That's gonna be another one that when they come through, what kind of numbers are these guys gonna report? Oracle, oops, that's the news feed. Hold on a second, let me just delete over here and see when do they come through. I'm still interested in Alibaba. All right, calendar. Let me see when Oracle comes through. All right, so we're looking for 8. So wait, so we already have this? No, they go month last. So December 12th, it looks like, right here for Oracle. So we'll wait to see when that comes through. So a couple weeks after Nvidia, we'll get to see what Oracle's up to. So that should be a problem, I think.
I would imagine so.
Again, but it beat up a lot, so there could be some value in that play, that's for sure.
So if you send us super chat, Cindy, then we're gonna throw up the stock.
Yeah.
That being said, the most interesting thing about QNCX is that the company's name is Quince, and the first thing I think about is what is a Quince from White Men Can't Jump. Shout out to Rosie. What was her name? I can't remember the name. Rosie Perez.
Yeah,
that's the actress.
From which movie?
White men can't jump. When
That's
she's
what I
on
was
Jeopardy
gonna,
at the end.
That's what I was going to reference.
That's the winning. That was the winning.
Okay.
I guess answer was
She's
Quint.
been in a bunch of things, but like smaller roles. But
Well, she's famous for In Living Color.
Living Color.
Yeah, she was the choreographer of the Fly Girls. But this Quint stock, QNCX, 500,000 in volume. That's not tradable. And even if you're in this one, like, I mean, look, if you're swing trading stuff like this, I guess you have a chance. But for day trade, like you said, 500,000 shares, not going to be any good. It's not actually one of those small caps where I pull up the chart and want to throw up in my mouth. It's actually higher lows, holding a buck, above the 50 and the 200 period moving average, pretty good, trend break. I don't know anything about the company, but it's not the worst looking small cap chart that I've ever seen. But you have to know something about it to like this because the volume's not there for any kind of a trade. It's certainly in the midst of a decent consolidation higher. So I can give you that. But I love White Man Can't Jump. I refuse to and have not. Stock's at $9. I refuse to and have not watched the remake of it because I feel like they didn't need to do it. I'll probably watch it for free at some point when it's on one of the services. LFS is now, it just hit $9. The stock is absurd. It's going to be stupid tomorrow, one way or another. And I have a feeling it's going to be the other way. What the heck is this? This is ridiculous.
LFS? Did we get a Dara for that one?
Do we know the story here? Because I don't.
I don't know what LFSS is, unless it was something this morning.
She's not at the desk right now.
Okay, that's
I'll
fine.
look it up.
We'll get her in a minute here. Right now, just to give you guys a little bit of an update of what's been happening here on the rebalance or on the imbalances today. No rebalances that we know of. We talked about those possibly coming tomorrow with one of them ones in the Russell. But there's Kenvue and Archer right now looking to be the sell side, or sorry, buy sides. AT&T, NU, Arca. So this is the ones that are going to be on the AM. So we look at BMNR as well right now with a possible sell. So that's kind of doing, I don't know, made a move higher, now coming back in. BMNR today, 19 million shares. So this is only 700,000 sitting right there. So I'm not sure that's going to be a huge position or anything for that kind of a short. But there's SMR as we get worried about Oklo. SMR, wow, just down another 7%, getting really kicked in the face there. Watch out for 25. I mean, more lows coming for Sam Michael Roberts here. New scale, not making any money. You know, broke below here, catching definitely that falling sword back in again. But you're playing these names for growth and for hopefully the potential of, a need for these small modular reactors. Of course, that's why SMR has that symbol, and the name is New Scale. So looking for that. And what a ride. I mean, it sucks, obviously, when you're looking back at these things, and you're like, oh my God, look where it's come from, and yada, yada. But, at the end of the day, you got to be somewhat happy with the performance, but not if you've bought anything in the last 6 months or so. We've already broke below May. So not good there as that comes back in, of course, as we wait. Big report tonight from Oklo. So we'll see if that has anything. NNE, another one, Nano Nuclear, another play that's fallen back in, as well as most of these names are now looking for life support down at some of these levels. So we'll see what happens in just a matter of 12 minutes. We get Oklo in and around 410, 415, and then we'll talk about all these trades with Brian as well as we get ready for Brian Shannon to join us on the recap show there today. Light one for earnings, but stories for sure today.
Movers is the key. I almost feel like it's more interesting sometimes, at least from the trader aspect, when you have the stocks that move and give you price action, as opposed to like the nothing burgers, where there's a lot to digest, but if you're not really like an analyst, you're not like in the stock for the long term, it's like, yeah, but I'd like it if it moved a little bit more. Just a reminder to everybody, Archer, you can see there, it's an upweight tomorrow on the Russell 2000 for 7.5 million shares. So there's always a chance that maybe there's a little bit of front running that today with that 1.4 million buy with less than 1 minute to go until we get those imbalances coming out. OpenDoor apparently was a great buy. I'm just going to leave it on the imbalances here, but OpenDoor off of VWAP right back into the high of the day. OpenDoor is super strong. Archer's at the high of the day right now. Rivian was at the high of the day. The market almost went green on the NASDAQ. ES is green. Shout out to Eli Lilly. And
oh, yeah, right.
I mean, Eli Lilly, tomorrow. I jinxed it today. That one's on me. You can blame me for like hollering, it's about to break 1,000, everybody. 999 is the high. And then, of course, that was the top. If I really thought that, I would have shorted it, but I did not. So in about 20 seconds, I want to see Archer get big, big, big. 1.4, when tomorrow we're expecting 7 is not necessarily huge. CVX had a huge sell imbalance, but then that paired off the early look. We'll see if it shows up there again in about 5 seconds. We'll see. Doesn't mean any of these are going to be significant, just the chance that a trade exists. And they've come out. Archer comes out pretty much what it already showed. Intel's a buy of 1.4. CMG sell 1.1. No, none of the big names here. Like, no. Where's Nvidia? No, yeah, none nothing. Of them. BBAI, that's pretty small. 700,000. Peloton 700,000. Mara 660,000 sell. That's not. It's been kind of rough for them. Lyft, like there's AMD. The first big cap name is AMD for 500,000 shares to buy. I can't remember the last time. Like, none of the big names are there. Even as I scroll back up, Intel is the biggest of and it's only 1.3 million. That's not even that big of a deal for them. So Archer, I'd say that's a bit of a nothing burger. We wanted more than that.
Yeah, no, nothing going on there. And we don't have any Oklo. We don't have any Circle. Both of those names are going to be reporting. We have Oscar. Ooh, Oscar right there. Bought some yesterday, but in and around this price anyways. Oscar did have a nice move intraday there, up to 15.50 from some of those lows there. And again, you know, boom, right back down in. And for no real reason other than, the market's holding out okay. But Oscar there, not in the right space right now for the healthcare spot there. But Intel's a decent buy, actually. Right there. So we'll have to watch out to see if there's anything going on there. And it looks like, you know, selling out of the futures, there's the pop up. And that's the thing, right? Like, here we go. It wasn't doing anything pretty much. And we were right. I don't know if that was very small. We had less than 10% left. We sort of talked about that when that was happening. And there we go. So, you know, doing nothing, barcoding, 350 comes and there's the pop. So that's why Neil and I will often sit here and talk about like getting out before some of these moves at 350, because out of nowhere, right there, you just bumped up like 30 cents. And that's, you know, depending on what kind of share size you're trading, that could be a decent loss right at the end of the day in the last 10 minutes on something that you can't really control. So. But there it goes, TQs right there back up to the upside as we get ready. People want us to talk about Mara and things like that, but we're going to go over to, you know, there was a sell imbalance. I'll just address this.
60 sell.
Yeah, okay, so is it still there? There it is right there. So Mara still with a nice to the downside. Remember, it's getting harder to mine right now, these coins. So I don't know. We can look at the chart maybe when we get back. But yeah, Mara in trouble.
Yeah, they're in trouble. And I think for a lot of traders, it was always trouble when you had to risk your own money or you didn't have enough to start off. So you had that fear of losing, kept a lot of traders in the sideline. But it's changing because Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With the limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, growth. And when you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear. No barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. So we want to thank them for sponsoring this portion of the show. We want to thank Archer Aviation for probably making some people some money today.
Yeah.
So it's going up weight in it must already be in the Russell 2000, so it's getting up weighted tomorrow. Breaking high of the day here. I kind of wish, if it's already doing this going into the upweight, I kind of feel like tomorrow might not be that good because they're already buying this one up. And because we have to, LFS is just hit 1150. It's now up 600. When was the last time we had one of these? It's been a minute since we've had one of these things, but it just doubled up in the last 12 minutes or so. And what the hilarious thing is, there's no more halts in the aftermarket. So it's not like this thing's going to halt, as crazy as it is. So, you know, no one ever went broke taking profit, all that good stuff. This might be absolutely insane tomorrow either way. And if you're ever trading these and you're considering swinging overnight, best to have knowledge of whether or not they can just drop an offering at any time. Like, have they already filed? Could they do so? This one just came to market, so I'm going to guess, I don't know, but my first thought is maybe not because they just came to market, but be careful with these, because if they can, you can get cut in half very, very quickly. So 630%. Death God, it is absolutely on one right now. There's nothing like it here today. No questions asked. But you know what? The market's doing its own job. The NASDAQ actually has a chance to go green here. 0.1.
Wow, I didn't even realize.
No, yeah, I'm just going to pull up the Qs because that's easier than typing in the future symbol. But the Qs 0.19, 0.14, really, really close. outside chance. It's kind of teetering right now. Maybe it's not going to get there, but I'd say that's a pretty strong move overall for the market because it looked all morning long. It was just a slow grind of shorts that were working, and not much was great to the long side. But thank you, Apple. I think you got to thank you, Apple. Thank you, Meta. Thank you, Microsoft, for getting us here. But this is probably why we're not going to cross the finish line green. As I say that, at 355, Apple takes a dump of $0.50. Hard to break the highs if Apple doesn't want to.
Yeah, ain't that the truth on that one? All right, yeah, so just really quickly here into the close. I just saw, someone was saying that, why is Tesla dumping? Let's go have a quick little look. Yeah, not dumping, going the other way. Actually, there into the close. There goes Tesla, man, 437 up to 440. It's the market right now that's coming back in, not Tesla. Tesla holding out quite well right now, back up into 440 as there goes Tesla.
What was that about?
I don't know. That's why I was wondering if there was maybe some sort of an earnings or look on here. It looks like we have Nvidia with the sell there into the close. So nothing to do with Tesla there, but Nvidia with a nice little sell side. I don't see Tesla on here, but yeah, Tesla ripping there into the close. Anything on this, Adara, possibly?
Yeah, I'll be quick with this because it's not related to any particular stock. I mean, it has to do with Fannie Mae, but unlikely to move. FNMA. I want to let you guys know here, Wall Street Journal reporting that apparently there are some Fannie Mae watchdogs looking into how Bill Pulte, who runs the housing agency, obtained mortgage records of some people who were deemed to be, I guess, opposing President Donald Trump. Now, why I bring this up is because Lisa Cook, who is, of course, a Fed governor, was one of the people who was caught up in one of these mortgage probes. So this could be significant. Again, Wall Street Journal reporting that apparently some watchdogs for Fannie Mae were looking into how these records were obtained by Bill Pulte. Now, we've discussed this in the past, but usually these mortgage records are not looked into unless there is a reason to search for them. So it was unclear in the first place how these records were obtained. If I get more details, I'll let you know, but I did want to provide that update. Back to you.
Thank you, of course, as always, there, Dara. I am the Jinx, and
Dara.
Yeah, thank you, Apple. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, Apple was so strong all day long, and of course, like, right at the end of the day, it's going to do that. So Tesla goes upside randomly, and then Apple goes down. Nvidia on that sell imbalance as well loses the volume-weighted average price. So it's really just Tesla, which is holding on to the strength here. It's not going to go green, but sometimes how you end is more important than anything else. So if they're buying it up off this level, that could give us a little bit of a hint. Maybe we should like this 435 tomorrow. It's the kind of thing you mark down. Like the market rolls over a little bit and Tesla catches a bid randomly out of nowhere. So that kind of is what it is. I think if you're looking for, tomorrow, crypto is going to be on the mind with Circle already down 5 points going into this report, Oklo as well. But do not forget, we had a wealth of news in the crypto space. You had, to the upside, SoFi. They've now got crypto trading for their users. That's up a point into a weak market right now. Eclectic Passions actually just asked predictions on SoFi. I didn't even see that. I was just going to go over this anyways for some relative strength. We saw Coinbase to the downside. That's relatively weak. But do not discount SoFi. Probably not what you're going to want to hear. But I think you need to break out and show buyers above 31 before joining this move. It's basically been selling this area before. Like how much, it's just all selling at and above the 31 level, especially at 31. So until the buyers emerge above, I think the dip buy has just been the better play patiently or wait for it to break out and join. Well, I'm not married to any notion on SoFi. The only trade today was just a trend break. Like I'll take this in the afternoon pretty much every single time. If it trends almost all day long, a trend break's a pretty clean trade most times. But that breakout has to get through 31 tomorrow, or I'm not touching this thing, I don't think. We love SoFi, would love for it to break out. It just hasn't happened yet. And I just saw Tube saying watch out for XRP ETF. I think everybody watch out below on Coinbase specifically after what we saw this afternoon. 4.5% to the downside. Very, very close to this trend break at 300. Once that happens, you've got the 200 period, which had already bounced off once, and then you've got 240 if it loses that. I think if it breaks 280, give it a couple of days to get down to 240 and look for a snap buy on Coinbase. But it's getting pretty ugly for them. Like you put that chart up and put up the chart of like Bitcoin, not good. Not good for Coinbase, not good for BMNR right now, not good for a lot of the ancillary plays that are in the crypto space, Mara, some of the miners as well. They're under a lot of pressure. And we're going to get a big hint of how the dip buyers feel if you get Circle with a bad print today. I think they're going to be in trouble if you get a bad print. But we got the closing bell before those earnings, brought to you by AIML Health. Check them out on the OTC and the CSE. And let's ring that closing bell right there. So we've got not a ton of earnings, but Oklo's a mover. We know that's a big one. We know that Circle's going to be a mover. Everybody has their eyes on the entirety of the crypto space and some of these high-flying energy names, whether it's Oklo, the Sam Altman play. SMR has been tanking as well, so that could move in sympathy. Thank you, everybody, for all the super chats and all the fantastic questions. But Oklo, I'm already hearing some things in my ear from Oklo. Closing at the low, no print yet on this bad boy, but it is going to be absolutely wild. So you've got overnight and tomorrow morning some earnings. Global Foundries, by the way, if you're interested in that name, 4 times a year, Global Foundries is interesting. That's going to be tomorrow morning as well. PMAX says puts. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. We're certainly going to find out. And remember that buy that we just saw on Tesla. So it ends up holding a lot of those gains, but that buy came in without an imbalance right around 438 or so. So that could be a good level for us to be able to watch. Only thing that was looking, big cap name that was looking really strong right at the end, most of them sold off in the last minute or two, and it was Tesla that showed a little bit of strength. And oh, that's right, Fank Rizzo. I know, we'll get to the desk in a quick little second. Do not sleep on Rivian. This is the quietest and best stock the last week or so. Rivian, another 10% today. It is absolutely on a tear breaking out. Some point it has to dip, but it's at a monster high when it breaks $19 if it can get there tomorrow. So lots to cover, everybody. Not only Adara and Sean, but we're also going to have our good friend Brian Shannon of Anchored VWAP fame. So without further ado, let's get on to the desk. The market recap show starts right now.
Hey everybody, and thank you, Neil. Joined here with Adara. How are you doing, Adara?
I'm here, and I'm ready for Oklo earnings, but Oklo's not ready for me because they don't report until 4:15 p.m. Eastern. Also, Oklo just announced they're signing a memorandum of understanding with the Idaho National Laboratory operator to expand R&D collaboration on advanced nuclear fuel and materials. So I've always said I find when these companies release these, I guess, non-earnings related updates the same day as earnings, I find it to be kind of a red flag because I remember Netflix did this once. Disney did this once. It usually doesn't end well, but either way, OKLO, 15 minutes ahead of their earnings, announces this MOU. You can find this fun infographic on X at TTV Research. Here is Sam Altman, former chairman of their board of directors, and here is Chris Wright, U.S. Secretary of Energy, but prior to that, he was actually on Oklo's board of directors and understandably had to leave so that he could join Trump's cabinet. So take a look here at OKLO. Last report, we did have a larger than expected loss per share, but operating loss was $28 million. They did, though, end the quarter with marketable securities just under $500 million. So very mixed earnings. That's the last report, though.
Yeah, so this is, news coming out right now is kind of strange. We'll see.
I told you I don't trust that when they do that.
Yeah, we'll wait. I mean, we had a big, huge move today in the stock of Rivian. We'll see if Oklo can sort of copy that. Obviously, completely different space there for Oklo. So 103 right now, waiting for, as Adair just said, 415 that's coming through. And if we're looking at NewScale or anything like that, SMR continues to be a downside push as well. We do want to
the earnings are out for Oklo.
Oh, the earnings are out. Okay, I was just going to say, because SMR just got a little bit of a bump right there. So Oklo right now, you are claiming that earnings are out. So we will wait to see. It's not really moving too much. Though. We did have an expected move here of about 10 to 12%. So it was already down 7 to begin with. So right now, Oklo not getting too much action here in the post-market as we await for earnings on OKLO right now. Once Adara parses through those, we will have them for you. But yeah, today was a day of pretty mixed sort of guidance. We had Nvidia starting the day to the sell side there, as of course, SoftBank dumping some Nvidia shares, all of their position actually worth totaling $5.9 billion. So if we go over here over to Nvidia and just have a quick look here at what they were up to today, as you can see, Oklo starting to go down into 102 and change. There's Nvidia still down 3%, but was looking a little worse early, tried to battle back, but didn't necessarily close with too much strength right there back into 193 again. But it's Oklo, that's what everyone's here for. 101.80, so now we're starting to go down. Looks like we're down about 2%. Anything on these or not yet?
It was a miss. So they reported losses of 20 cents per share versus the estimated loss of 12 cents per share. My infographic had an estimated loss of 13 cents. Either way, they missed. Thank you very much to Mopar for Life for letting me know this report was out. I missed it because they reported their MOU thing at the exact same time. But Sean, I have something kind of concerning to let you all know about. So I clicked on Oklo's earnings, and immediately what I usually do when I go through these reports is I control F for revenue. Then I forgot they don't really do the whole revenue thing.
Right.
So then I said, okay,
what's that?
Well, let's control F earnings. Sean, how do they only mention earnings twice in their like 20-page report? It's all about, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. I'm like, no, I want to know how much you're making. I don't care about your hallelujah thing. I'm sorry. I would love companies, if you're listening, if there are any CFOs out here, when you're doing earnings reports, please make them easy for me to read.
So I think I'm seeing right here, and while you were talking, I think maybe it became clear, 20 cents miss?
I said that already.
Yeah, okay, verse 12. Okay, so that's what we're looking for
miss.
right here. And it looks like right now, so minus 20 cents right now versus, here, I'll just pull it up so we can at least look at it quickly. There it is, minus 20 versus minus 12. So not a great look there. We'll wait to see if there's any more information coming for Oklo, but nice little downside take there. We can check out some of its friends in the space here. SMR, what a bad day for them. Again, down another 6% here today and going lower into the close. But then NNE would be another look here, Nano Nuclear. I really think like the more and more we look at all this, there's Oklo with your miss on the screen, 20 cents versus 12. I think Cameco, like one of the original ones, names to look at here, Cameco, $92, not down that much today, and not even blinking an eye at some of these plays. So you want a name that's been beat up a little bit, bouncing off the 50-period moving average. Look at CCJ. What a good stock that's been here in the uranium spot. So, you know, one of the OGs, a name that we've been, you know, looking at for quite a while, was never, you know, $1 or $2 and made these runs. So it doesn't have the fame that some of these other plays do have. But again, just a solid name, bringing it back in. Watch out for CCJ. Again, I'm not sure if and when they have reported. Right back over to Oklo, and then we'll continue with what's happened today. So it looks like, Adara, not much happening right now with Oklo. So we can kind of move off of that. And if you hear something or see something, say something for Oklo. So yeah, we did it. It sounds like the TTC, you know, when you're on there and it goes, if you see a strange package.
I mean, I don't take, like, people know I walk everywhere when possible, so I don't take transit much. But those are, those announcements are pretty funny.
Same.
Or they're like, oh, look at this sign so you don't have to look at the person in front of you. And I'm like, what? That's really weird, TTC. Don't do that.
In front of you. Right there, okay, 67% right now for December. So we're coming in here to December the 10th, which is now less than a month away. You know, as we approach November 11th, happy Veterans Day, lest we forget, here in Canada with Remembrance Day. So that's where I was this morning. It was a great assembly put on by my kids' school, so I was really happy to be there. 67% chance right now for a quarter-point cut and a 33% chance or so. So we go 2/3, 1/3 right now on the cut. Looking forward to that December the 10th. It's actually going to be pretty cool if we can finally get a report, Adara, that is somewhat mixed, where we get a little bit of not 99% certainty. It'd be kind of cool if we go 2/3, 1/3. I bet you it's not going to be anywhere near that.
I would love that, though, because you guys know I love the tea. And so people will joke about, like, oh, Adara loves her market gossip. And I mean,
oh, don't we all? Yeah.
It's not that much of a joke, guys. Like, I really enjoy when there's this divergence. Like, Sean, and the thing that I was going to say to you is I actually think we're already kind of getting that internal division within the Fed that breed the exact type of thing that you were talking about. Like, when we had that meeting back in July, we had the first time we had 2 dissenting votes in the same meeting for like 30 years. And then we had another 2 dissenting vote coming through in October. And then in the second time, those dissenting votes were in opposite directions.
I know. And then
which is like crazy, right? So it's a really interesting look, I think, for the Fed. And even then, like, Sean, we only had one person who was voting a little bit more dovish, one person who was voting more hawkish. But then we had 2 Feds come out like a couple days after being like, oh yeah, we almost considered voting more hawkishly. So I'm like, I think it's going to be pandemonium in December.
We're also obviously months away from a brand new Fed chair.
I wonder who. I have thoughts, but I wonder.
So right there, we're going to figure out who Donald Trump, I guess, appoints.
Who's your Kalshi money on for that?
I've never even looked. Not Lisa Cook.
Oh, no, it's not the
No, I don't. You know what? As far as all the names go, we can definitely check that
I
up.
have an infographic somewhere. I'll pull it
Oh,
up.
you have an infographic
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's somewhere.
You know, I bring that up because we talked about Fannie Mae a little bit, you and I, just at the end of the show here as I came over. Fannie Mae right now, high of $15, has really started to fade out just a little bit now underneath this $11 mark and trying to get a little lower, down 4%. Nice action there at the end of the day, starting to create some buying opportunities, maybe again at $10 as we look to bounce off again these big mortgage companies with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as we heard some headlines today about some fraud and things like that going through on the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac side of things. We did have IBIT moving a little bit lower here today again as well.
Oh, I have the infographic.
So sorry about all of that for crypto heads. We could talk about a little bit of that with Brian as well, but here's a bigger time frame on BTC. And yeah, there's that marked up top right there of 126. So that was real nice and that wasn't even that long ago. That was at the beginning of October. And unfortunately, I think we might have jinxed this, and maybe Sharif and Joe got really excited about Uptober. Well, that lasted 3 up days, and then October was Puketober, and we end the month. Basically, that's the end of October right into here, and that was the beginning. So we go from 125 pretty much all the way down to 108 and change, and once we lost that, now we hold on for dear life in and around 100,000. I will be asking our good friend Brian about
AMD.
Bitcoin and a possible hold on there again. I was short AMD, Adara, and if so, Adara, okay, Adara today have their conference, and now, as the market closes, we get what is looking like a huge pop here at Advanced Micro Devices. We went out there at 237. Tell me the good news here for Advanced Micro Devices.
Well, the conference actually is still happening, and so I had put it on mute because they just kept, kind of yapping, but I kept the video on. So all I had to do was turn it right back on to see what they were talking about. And they're talking about gross margin expansion. Apparently their target, I can't really tell when this target is based on this very unclear visual, but at some point they are targeting 55 to 58% gross margin expansion. Now, I'm not seeing any headlines on X. I'm not seeing any headlines on Benzinga, so this is just purely me speculating as to why this is moving up. But again, gross margin expansion, probably a good thing. So good look there for, gross margin.
Are we having any effect on NVIDIA there? Because I know it's an AMD specific, so probably nothing to do with NVIDIA. Or I was thinking actually when we hear about gross margins expanding there for AMD, that's hopefully a good sign for what is to come here as we have NVIDIA earnings. I think it's next Wednesday or Thursday for NVDA. So
I was right. It's the gross margin stuff, by the way, guys. That's why it's up. I just checked.
Okay, perfect.
It's circulating now.
There it goes, circulating around. So there goes AMD. And again, today talking, all about data center and as they have their conference and video games and whatnot, some of the different segments for Advanced Micro Devices. And we got a great little bounce right there. Let's pay attention to this level. I don't know if it's going to come in tomorrow or not, but 237, a very good hold spot there just before their conference, up to 243, all the way, 248, sorry, all the way back in and just touching that most recent high again. And remember we said, if the market was open, my plan of action was to see this thing rally back into 248 and then smash this back down to the downside. Today actually is a pretty busy night, man. We have the annual general meeting for High Park Baseball. My son has a tour of yet again another high school.
Oh my
I
God.
never did that when I was going to high school. I kind of just went to the one that I was supposed to go to. Now they have all these options everywhere.
Wait, I mean,
You can apply to 3 different schools or something like
actually?
that. Yeah. It's all included. You just choose whatever 3 you want, and then you get placed. Some of them are based on lottery. Some of them are based on merit. I don't know. It's a crazy one in there right now. But anyways, busy times approaching for everybody here. The stock heat map was a very interesting one today, as it looks pretty, despite the NASDAQ, and we talked about where the NASDAQ went out as, here go, AMD still moving around, but the NASDAQ goes out today, was it down 0.3, I believe? Yeah, down a little bit better now as we get a little bit of a bump there. But NASDAQ still down, and the SPY was slightly up as the broader markets today ticked a little bit higher on the back of some financials, healthcare as well as health technology. Some of that was rallied through. So if you look through here, most of the red coming from this left side right now with Nvidia being downside. Apple was nice. TSMC with a report today of Apple buying out half of their chip capacity into next year. So Apple up another 2%. I'm feeling pretty good too. We most recently bought Apple at that 270 marker, 271, I believe, on good story there with Gemini coming through and possibly paying Apple to be install based there for their AI compromising with Siri there, getting that together. Meta and Oracle there, red today. Meta's been on a little bit of a bleed, man. And we were sort of celebrating, I know some of the traders around here were celebrating that Meta yesterday bounced off of 620 or so. Well, they came right back into there today, and Meta, not a great stock today because Meta bounced, no, well, it's okay today. It's down more than the market, but bouncing off of 620. So a key level there for Meta, down 1%. So again, down 3 or 4 times what the market was down, but there's that 620 clean bounce. So, you know, we were bleeding into the market today, and we found a bottom there at 1030 on Meta. Let's see if that can hold out. Let's go back and double check on Oklo again. Minus 20 cents on Oklo versus minus 12. So that continues the downside push. Some of the stories that we had today. So there's one earnings name. We wait for Circle tomorrow, Adara. I know you have maybe a graphic on that. We can go over that maybe in a minute. Yeah, but there's totally Circle down 6% here and getting lower after hours as we wait for their report. And Circle's an interesting name. And I'm actually going to ask Brian about this because ahead of earnings, obviously we're not going to ask him if he's into anything right now for Circle, but they're breaking lower. And honestly, not looking great, in my opinion. Whenever you get back in, we've always talked about this. Some days, the first day of their birthday, which Circle had right back in here into June, was one of their best days. But Circle actually continued much higher and had what a great first and second week there for Circle before finally hitting it back in. Made a nice bounce back to $240. I mean, that high for Circle, that does take around 3 bills, now back into $98. So this one really beat up heading into earnings. And we did have some negative stories today about some some stable coins, as we did have Coinbase drop out of one of their commitments. Some sort of I think it was a private company.
Is this a stablecoin startup, BVNK?
Right, okay.
$2 billion, but now it looks like that's maybe not going to happen.
Yeah, so they're pulling away from that $2 billion deal there for stablecoin. So that's not helping the market out at all. But yeah, Circle here tomorrow, man. Nervous hands as their report is pre-market, right, Adair? For
yeah, 6:25 a.m. is the ETA for that one. 6:25 a.m. And we already have the infographic on X, but at 6:20 a.m. it will be helpfully reposted for you all, so you can see it right before they report earnings. It's all pre-scheduled. I promise I'm not in there like pressing the button.
So go over to TTV Research to get more information about that. We'll retweet all of that as well. CoreWeave right now down, well, it started the day down 10%, but this was another story as we get CoreWeave experiencing, and what we had here was third-party data center delays. So I don't know. I mean, I thought these data centers were up and booming and going and, you know, a big source of what is to help sort of power this sort of AI craze moving forward. But there today, 8-cent loss, which is better than the 37 cents, so that's nice. Sales also on the high side of 1.36 billion versus 128, but they cut their FY25, so forward year 25 sales. They cut that guidance there and then talk about some delays. So, you know, CoreWeave again, like just kind of sucks because you did have a huge move higher in many of these IPO names. And I just don't know if profit was taken, but right now CoreWeave looking to see about a bounce from any of these areas. But CoreWeave again on earnings. And then Nvidia really started this day to the downside as we get ready for Brian in 1 second. Nvidia started the negativity by SoftBank announcing, it's nothing that Nvidia did, SoftBank clearing out of $5.9 billion worth of shares there. Adara, things that make you go,
Well, the reason I say that is because if you saw TMUS, which SoftBank like literally unloaded double TMUS what it did of Nvidia, TMUS had like a fantastic day. At least last time I looked at this around 1:30, it was just flying higher, and yet like it closed basically at highs, did it not? Which is interesting because Nvidia very much did not.
So wait a minute, they sold their shares in TMUS. Look what TMUS did on the daily. I mean, this is
right, but I think also maybe it's because they completely exited their Nvidia position, and there's already these AI bubble fears. TMUS, I believe they still have a position. TMUS's daily chart also says a very different story than Nvidia's, so people may be chilling more.
All right, let's talk some chalk here because I want to get over Nvidia. I want to talk about that with our guest trader of the day. And of course, it's Brian Shannon. Let's bring him on with Trader Talk. Hey, Mr. Shannon from Alpha Trends. Thank you so much for joining us one more time here at Trader TV Live. Always great talking to you and always great having you on the air with us here live. So how was your day? How's this earnings season been for you? It seems like it's getting a little jittery, but any thoughts so far of the last couple of days?
I agree. It's a little bit jittery up here, and people selling out of large positions of Nvidia doesn't inspire confidence for a lot of people. But the market is pretty resilient. It's holding up for the most part. So we're not seeing signs of breaking down. We had a strong reversal off the 50-day moving average on Friday, and so far we're holding on to those gains. The semis are a little bit wobbly here in the intermediate term. So I think you've got to keep a close eye on the semis. If they start breaking down, they could be headed for a test of the 50, and that might shatter confidence a little bit in the broader market for a couple days at least.
And of course, I wanted to begin with sort of that story that you just talked about in the semis there when we had SoftBank, and you talked about unloading some shares there. 5.9 billion apparently now completely out of Nvidia. And then we just got confirmed, of course, next Wednesday is Nvidia's big call. So the last of sort of the mega cap names coming through next Wednesday. For me, looking at this chart, Brian, I mean, I have the 50 period bouncing off quite nicely here, and it's really supported this 50 period. Sure, we get little wicks underneath it. But at the end of the day, this 50 period has been pretty gold. It goes all the way back to May, where we finally broke the trend and then started to go higher. I don't think we've been really scared out of our positions, as I know there's sayings that you like in that area. But if they don't scare you out, are they going to shake you out? What's going to happen with all of this? And I've brutalized your saying there. What is it again? If they don't.
That's actually from Peter Lynch, but it's if they don't scare you out, they'll wear you out.
That's what it is, wear you out. There's a little bit of shaking action there. But yeah, if we're not scared about these sort of wick downs here, I'm wondering myself right now, being an Nvidia investor and in it for the long run, what do we think about this heading into earnings? It does look a little toppy up here in and around that 210 area, but we just made brand new all-time highs a week and a half ago. I want to give this a little room to breathe. And with AMD here, giving some confirmations of guiding higher and sort of showing that, hey, maybe there is a little bit of strength off their conference call. What do we think about Nvidia at some of these levels?
You look at it, back it up to the weekly time frame a little bit, and you see a very clear pattern here still of higher highs and higher lows above a rising 20, 31, and 42-week moving average. If you want to get nervous a little bit and look at the 50-day moving average, it hasn't really been as relevant for this stock because we've had these undercuts through it. It's been more of shakeouts below it. So I'm kind of looking at it as this is a bigger, horizontal level, 180-ish. If we break below that and hold below it, then in the next couple of weeks, the bearish scenario, I'm not bearish, but the bearish scenario would look like this, that it comes down, gets trapped under this 50-day moving average, and then starts to sell off, maybe down towards, the anchor off of the April low. But I'm not bearish the stock. You can't be, I don't think, when you look at that weekly time frame.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that I was thinking about too. It's like there's going to be a house of cards here at some point, but Nvidia continuously moving higher here and looking for that support. And it looks like we might have found it there off the 50-period moving average. Just a quick little update here for traders that are with us right now, over 3,500 still watching. Oklo makes that bottom off of 100. And Brian, how key are psychological levels like this $100 mark? I mean, even on earnings, this name down 7% and really almost cut in half here from their highs just made a month ago, up at 190. I laugh because of just the sort of dramatic moves here that we see in some of these names, similarly to NewScale, which I know you and I have talked about numerous times on here with SMR. That was just at a high of $57. Chop that in half and give it back even more, down now into 27. But just back to Oklo, what do you think about psychological levels like that $100 mark that we just bounced off of? We've seen it down here before. Is that anything, or are we just looking at technicals and don't worry about the exact dollar figures here?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very important on the way up. We blasted right through it. There's a horizontal line at 100. So psychologically, sure, it's got a little bit of importance. I think that probably some people who have been, short this stock are thinking maybe that was their target down near 100. They see how it behaves there and start to cover a little bit. I'm still a little skeptical of Oklo in here. It seems more likely that it will continue lower. We've got that declining 5-day moving average, declining 50-day moving average, 20-day moving average rather. So, and realistically, if you look at this kind of looks like a big head and shoulders pattern. I'm not big on those patterns, but when I see them, I'll call them out. But I don't think there's any magic to them. But for now, they're I think you you've got to look at this as what it is, a super speculative stock, and the air is coming out of it a little bit.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, Brian. I want to ask you about the GLP-1 space a little bit. Eli Lilly, this is one of my favorites to trade. This one is near $1,000, made a high just below 1,000. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on this stock? I know it's a little bit hard because it literally is at all-time highs, but then also maybe Novo Nordisk as well, because we know that one's had some news lately, and it's a little bit more beat up than Lilly. So I guess Lilly and Novo, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Lilly breaking out to an all-time high. It just had a really nice run to get there. So up from 6.25 to 1,000 basically. I'd be a little hesitant about fresh buys up here. Oftentimes when we see a breakout from extended levels, it will begin to pull back, kind of shake people out, and then continue to rebuild. We're getting pretty stretched from all these key moving averages. We've got that 200-day moving average down at 750. So I think the name of the game in Lilly is to protect the profits for now. It's had this huge run, so start ratcheting up the stops. And Novo Nordisk, whatever you call this thing, Novo Nordisk. It's just a classic, stage 4, stage 4 downtrend. And here's Sean's, what Sean was trying to say, and I'm trying to say too, is if they don't scare you out on the way down here like this, what's most likely to occur with NVO is it's going to probably see a nice bounce up to that 200-day moving average. People get excited, comes back down, then starts to see the volatility come out of it. And then maybe it does something like this over the next year and a half. But I think that it's a beautiful pattern of stage 1 accumulation, stage 2 uptrend, stage 3 downtrend, stage 4 distribution, stage 4 downtrend, and needs some time to heal.
All right, Brian. Thank you for that analysis there. And it's really interesting to see Eli Lilly all the way up there near that $1,000 mark. Again, another psychological level. We go from $100 right up to $1,000 again. All right, we sort of went through, and I want to make sure that everybody gives you a good follow there on X or on StockTwits at Alpha Trends. But Daryl was looking through. You posted a chart about Ethereum. Really acting, quite well, or interacting anyways, with the year-to-date anchored VWAP. So I don't have that posted on this chart here with TradingView, but it's kind of bouncing off the 200-period moving average, which is great on a daily. Simple mind like me, that's what I'm looking for right now, off of a nice move back in for Ethereum with a high around 5,000, now back in to 3,500. So you're down about that 25 to 30%. It's looking like we might have found some support. What does that anchor look like, and what do we want to tell our viewers here about some Ethereum?
Yeah, we were on last week talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we bounced perfectly from the year-to-date anchor. That was the bottom end of the range that I was looking at, and I was fortunate enough to buy some down there. I've sold most of what I have in Ethereum simply because this is still in a downtrend. We're at that 200-day moving average, but these circles here, these are lower highs and lower lows. So I looked at this from the start as a bounce and a downtrend. It kind of came up to where I wanted it to. I sold 2/3 of it. Now I'd love to see it come down and retest that level. Bitcoin is failing here. It's right at the anchor from the low. Last week we spoke about what I'd really like to see is undercut this low right here, undercut that 100 again, come down to 98, and then maybe we can put in a bottom that's a little bit more sustainable. But same thing here. We have lower highs and lower lows. So I think that it's more of a trading vehicle right now than time to put it away.
Yeah, and actually a good friend of ours that used to be on the show, I'm not sure if you're familiar, Crypto Burb, but he's actually, he's now apparently out of crypto completely, waiting through the, he says disconnection from the money supply, the M2 money supply, and right now wants to wait to see a couple months before getting back in. So to your point, maybe more now of a trading vehicle rather than like a buy and hold to wait to see, but watching out for some key levels. So yeah, Crypto Burb, I was actually looking at him, and maybe we'll have him on to discuss some of his ideas as well. Okay, Brian, everything we throw at you, you just give us such great information and good look at some of the charts. Is there anything right now that you're having your eye on here, either some names that are maybe past earnings or looking at some future plays? You've given us names like SoundHound before, various names in healthcare and health technology as well. What are we looking at right now moving forward? Anything that's piquing your interest?
Well, I heard Neil discuss Rivian earlier, and
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to get into Rivian yesterday. So I've got a third of that left from 1535. A couple stocks I bought today that I think look worthwhile are Ardmore Shipping, ASC. It hasn't done anything for me yet, but here's our daily chart with that rising 20 and 50-day moving average. Over here, worst case stop would go underneath this level. I'm raising it up to this point. When you look at the longer term chart, kind of this is what I'd sketched out, and it's kind of looking like that stage 4 decline. If they didn't scare you out, they wore you out. Now we're above all those moving averages, and this is looking like what I was pointing out was an inverted head and shoulders pattern in there. So that could be good for longer term money as well. Also bought LQDA today, and that one hopefully can continue to move. It really hasn't gone yet, but tomorrow, if it can get probably past about $28 per share, then I think this one should start to continue back up to the upside. Risk down, worst case under here at about 26.35.
Liquidia Corporation. You heard it here first and maybe never again, but what's up to Liquidia? We'll talk about that next week. Yeah, I just want to go back to the Rivian chart because what a great call. So congratulations on that one, picking some up at 15. But I have a 5-minute chart here. Was it just this sort of like pre-market kind of breakout? Like we had a good break the day before, obviously, as Rivian reported great earnings. We broke through that 14, and even on a daily chart, this is what we were looking at here. This is a bad wick, but right there, breaking through $14. I remember shorting it on the show because I was like, oh, well, we're not going to break through there. But we wind up doing that, and then we pop through there on earnings. But what was it? Just this daily? That was 15.75. You mentioned 14.35. So what got you excited about that, and what made you push the button there for Rivian? What a great buy.
This is a perfect setup. It's written about. I'll plug it this time, Sean.
Perfect. Go for it.
Trading gains with anchored VWAP. It's the pullback to the prior day's VWAP, and then it gets above the daily VWAP. So this teal line was the anchor from the prior 2 days ago, 2 days prior. It pulled back to that perfect. So it's also chase the gap or wait for VWAP. Don't chase that gap. Wait for it to reclaim VWAP right here at 1535. And as it does that, it tells us buyers, got a little bit too excited on the open. It pulled back. We shook out the shorts and the instant profit takers. That was the buy right there. You can find it in that book. It's perfect. And it did the same thing, exact thing today, Sean. It did the same setup. It pulled back to the prior day's VWAP, that blue line, and then got back above the daily VWAP. So it's a strategy that I teach and use every single day, and it's there in that book. So that's the no setup. That wasn't even a setup from you, Sean, but that's how it is.
Obviously, we talk about this, and I think that education is super important. Obviously, you're a great follow on X, but definitely go pick this up. Maximum trading gains with anchored VWAP. Of course, we have it here on the floor, and it's always within reach. I'm going to have to sharpen up. I actually read this when it was for, how old is this book now? 3 years, maybe?
January of 23. So, yeah, it's coming up on 3.
There you go. Yeah, I remember reading that. I'm going to have to sharpen up. Good holiday reading for everybody out there right now. But thank you again, Brian, so much. All 3,000 people watching right now, big thumbs up. A lot of love for you in the chat. So go make sure you follow this guy at StockTwits, at Alpha Trends, as well as on X. Brian, best to you and yours. Any plans tonight or anything? Or what's for dinner or anything like that?
Nothing special. Nope.
Nothing special. Okay.
I don't even know it's for dinner yet.
Who knows? Well, yeah, different time zones over there. My son right now he's in grade 8, so he's going to all these different high school open houses. So that's tonight. So we're going to go there. He's going to.
That is an interesting system, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I mean, you're probably just looks like you're maybe a couple years out of high school, but I don't know. When I went to high school, it was just like you're going to this one. That's it. Like we never had any choice. So I don't know. But nowadays, it's like one is a film studies. He's big into that, and then one is like a big sports school. So he wants to play football. So he's weighing. Anyways. Maybe too many options, maybe. But that's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much, my friend, for another successful trader talk. Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends. We'll see you next week. Take care, Brian. All right, wow. Always, always fantastic, of course, having Brian on. And you can throw anything at that guy. And with good, easy, crisp explanations there. Great rundown of charts. Very, very easy to understand. And honestly, he never asks us to do anything with this book, but it is an absolute great read. If you are looking for VWAP information and anchored VWAP specifically, go check him out. It's Brian Shannon. Oklo right now down 8% and actually flat on earnings. I mean, we closed the day right here, Fabian, right at 104, and that's pretty much where we're at. We did dip down to $100. Stay tuned tomorrow as we'll pay attention to some Oklo, and I'm sure AMD will be on all of our minds as well. And then I don't know if you found the story with Tesla there at the end of the day, but
yeah, people kept asking me. I never
ripped there
saw
into 440.
Nor is there one.
Okay,
actually.
So we'll see tomorrow if there's some sort of a news story here with Tesla and why that move did happen. Okay, Adara, I think I know the answer to this one already, but let's just say like we could choose all these different, high school courses and you could specialize in one. So what was your favorite sort of cohort, or maybe that's the wrong word, but class in high school?
When I was in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, I was.
That's what this is. This is your favorite high school course.
I was a drama kid.
Drama, perfect.
What about you, Sean?
I had a feeling maybe it was writing. You know what? I actually really enjoyed law.
Really? I love law.
Yeah.
I actually won like proficiency in law in grade 12.
I bet
so
you
I
did.
like law as well. But
yeah. So I like the arguing back and forth. You're probably a little bit better at the case law, like remembering how things
Oh yeah, no, I love case law.
But yeah, so that's awesome. So I think law is awesome, and that was good. And I always like gym class as well. I think that's an easy answer. My kids would tell you, oh, I like recess or I like lunch. Too much.
Recess is a class.
You know what I actually didn't mind? I actually didn't mind calculus and finite and math, things like that, because I like solving things and coming up with an answer. And anyways, that was pretty easy, and it's not judgmental. It's just, like drama's not opinion-based, but it's very much in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, it's like it's interpretive. Like you get marks and you'd be like, I don't think I deserve that, but like, who knows? Super random. So
and in math, just like x equals 5. No, it equals 4. Wrong. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Look, it's been a great show. Thank you, Adair, for everything. Thank you to our great guest and great friend of the show, Brian Shannon. Go give him a follow as well. Brian. That's Adara. I'm Sean. Thank you. Big shout out to Fabian, Ramin, everybody who's still around here, and all the hosts today, Joe, Sharif, Obi, thank you so much for filling in for me this morning as well. But from all of us here at Trader TV Live, thank you for watching. And Adara's still working, and we will see you tomorrow. Rise and shine, 8:30 a.m. Ciao till then.